crux, the value, then the money will start flowing in. Inshallah, you will become, slowly, millionaire, and maybe minting more and more millions and eventually becoming billionaires, right? This is how, if you go and study all the startups around the world, all the major companies around the world, they all had a starting point. And if you see the timeline of each of the company or the startup around the world, they would have been focusing on value creation. So I hope this is clear to everyone. Now, before I move on, I want to ask, how do you think is the pace? Na pesrudhu purida illa romba fast ah porena illa romba slow ah porena illa do you think I should modify a little bit? What do you think? You have any comments, any feedback on that? Is everything all right so far? Do you think we are going good? Okay, very good. Okay, fantastic. Good job. Okay, jazakallah khair. Keep interacting, brothers and sisters, so that we all understand that we are really engaged, right? When I see the engagement, it also motivates me to do a better job, inshallah. Okay, ipo value creation and solli nama sonnom. We are focusing on value creation. And if you go and look at the history of value creation, right? How as humans, we evolved all this, while over the period of so many centuries, right? People were hunters, right? They didn't really focus on anything rather than feeding their own tummies, right? They just wanted to satisfy their own self, so they hunted. They didn't know anything. Then slowly people became growers. They started to grow. They started to till the lands. They started to grow vegetation and so on and so forth. Then it so happened that people, realize that they can plunder growers' food. இத்தனை பேர் ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்றாங்களே, சரி அது வந்து எப்படி ஈஸியா ஃபாஸ்டா வந்து நம்ம எடுத்துக்கிறது அப்படின்னு சொல்லி they started to go and plunder other people's wealth. People who are weaker, அவங்கள்ட்ட போயிட்டு அவங்களுடைய wealth எல்லாம் வந்து புடுங்க முயற்சி செஞ்சாங்க for their leader or for their king, right? So then came into existence warriors. அதுக்கு பிறகு என்னாச்சு, slowly வந்து society இதெல்லாம் டெவலப் ஆக ஆரம்பிச்சது. People developed civilizations and so on. Then as a result, craftsmanship வந்து வர ஆரம்பிச்சது. craftsmanshipனா என்ன, அது எப்படி தமிழ்ல சொல்றதுன்னு தெரியலையே. புலவர் யாராவது ஹெல்ப் பண்ணா நல்லா இருக்கும். சரி, craftsmanshipனா அதாவது say for example தச்சு தொழில் செய்வாங்க இல்லையா, carpentry, or for example நெசவு தொழில், whereby people develop textiles and so on and so forth, pottery, அந்த மாதிரி வந்து craftsmanship வந்து ஆரம்பிச்சது. அதே போல அதுக்கு பிறகு people started to realize that there is not only their own land, but there are lands beyond the borders, right? So அது போல explorer ஆனாங்க. அதுக்கு பிறகு ட்ரேடிங் ஆரம்பிச்சது, merchants ஆனாங்க. அதுக்கு பிறகு மக்கள் வந்து they realize the more you produce, the more you can make money. So எப்படி வந்து அதிகமா வந்து ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்றதுன்னு சொல்லி they started to invent machines, right? Then industrialization ஆக ஆரம்பிச்சது. Then people discovered oil and so on and so forth, until the recent time when people started to buy and sell corporations. பெரிய பெரிய கம்பெனியே வந்து வாங்குறது, செல் பண்றது, IPO எல்லாம் கேள்விப்பட்டிருப்பீங்க. அந்த மாதிரிலாம் ஆரம்பிச்சது. So அதுக்கு பிறகுதான் something really amazing happened, and that's what we are going to focus on in this series, inshallah, and that is called startup, right? Making useful things faster than a corporation. இப்போ நீங்க கார்பரேஷன் எல்லாம் எடுத்தீங்கன்னா, ஒரு கம்பெனி ஆரம்பிக்கணும் அப்படின்னு சொன்னா, mashallah, many of you are very senior people here attending this series. You all know that, right? For you to start a company, people do first of all a big proposal. They have to dig in a lot of information. They have to recruit marketing agencies, market research agencies. அவங்களுக்கே வந்து பல millions pay பண்ணி மார்க்கெட் ரிசர்ச் எல்லாம் பண்ணுவாங்க. எந்த ப்ராடக்ட் நம்ம செய்யலாம், எந்த சர்வீஸ் ஆரம்பிக்கலாம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி. So starting a corporation is a very, very complicated thing, right? Normally big companies are able to do, big wealthy rich people are able to do, or the governments are able to do such things. இப்போ அது இல்லாம ஸ்டார்ட்அப்ல என்ன ஆகுது அப்படின்னு சொன்னா, we are able to make, right, useful products, useful services at a speed which people can't even comprehend. ரொம்ப quickly பெரிய பெரிய கார்ப்பரேஷன்ஸ் எல்லாம் என்ன செய்வாங்களோ அதை நம்ம குயிக்லி வந்து செஞ்சு முடிப்போம் ஸ்டார்ட் அப்ல. This is the whole idea, right, of startup. I hope it is clear so far, right? Okay. இப்போ இந்த ஹோல் டைம்லைனை நம்ம ஒரு இண்டஸ்ட்ரியல் ரெவல்யூஷன் வியூ பாயிண்ட்ல நம்ம பார்ப்போமே. சரியா? I see some comments. Okay, very good. But let us take a look into industrial revolutions. In the entire timeline வந்து நம்ம 4 industrial revolution கூட நம்ம வந்து பிரிக்கலாம், because this is what most importantly matters for us as we speak. First industrial revolution என்ன ஆச்சு? People discovered steam power and they tried to mechanize things. இந்த மாதிரி livers, gears, chains எல்லாம் போட்டு they, with the help of steam power, they try to mechanize things, right? So this is what we know normally as Industrial Revolution 1. Industrial Revolution 2 enna aachu? 19th century la aachu. 19th century, what happened is people discovered electricity and assembly line production, right? So once we discovered electricity, we also knew that we can have motors and pumps and so on. So with the help of motors, we were able to have assembly lines. So the production, the manufacturing became even much faster, right? So this happened in 19th century. In the late 70s, right, in the 20th century, enna aachuna, partial automation aachu. I still remember, right, I was so fascinated as a student when I first visited Hyundai. You know Hyundai? Neriya perukku theriyum nenikren. Vandi car, they make cars, they make this kind of robots, they make a lot of, vehicles and so on. In India, Hyundai has a huge manufacturing plant, right? They make thousands of cars in the plant, and the plant itself is so many, hundreds of acres big. So anga ulla poi paatha, I was just baffled. Why? Because there were so many sections. ஒரு பார்ட் செய்யறதுக்கு ஒரு பெரிய பெரிய பிளான்ட் இருக்கும். பிளான்ட் அந்த பெரிய இண்டஸ்ட்ரிக்குள்ள நிறைய பிளான்ட்ஸ் இருக்கும். So in different plants, right, they have different production activity happening. I went to the very first plant, which is chassis. நீங்க வண்டியில பாத்திருப்பீங்க, கீழ பெரிய ஃப்ரேம் இருக்கும், அதுக்கு பேர் chassis ன்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. So அந்த chassis பிளான்ட்டுக்குள்ள போய் பார்க்கும்பொழுது I could barely see 1 or 2 people sitting inside. Subhanallah, can you imagine? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us so much intelligence, the intellect, as a result of which we eliminated a huge, human resource, very labor intensive work, right? We turned labor intensive work into labor less work with the help of robots and automation and so on. So enna aachuna, programming logic controls, right? Simple computers alla use panni the whole manufacturing was turned into a partial automation. அங்கங்க இன்டர்வென்ஷன் பண்றதுக்கு, சும்மா போய் செக் பண்றதுக்கு மட்டும் ஆட்கள் போவாங்க, போயிட்டு பார்ப்பாங்க, எல்லாம் சரியா இருக்கா அப்படி. However, brothers and sisters, the reason why I'm trying to take you through these kind of evolutionary developments, right? The developments எல்லாம் நம்ம ஏன் தெரிஞ்சுக்கணும் அப்படின்னா, we need to understand in our lifetime we are at a juncture where things are, undergoing a huge transformation. பெரிய ஒரு டிரான்ஸ்ஃபர்மேஷன் ஆயிட்டு இருக்கு. அந்த டிரான்ஸ்ஃபர்மேஷன் ஆயிட்டு இருக்கிறத நம்மள நிறைய பேருக்கு வந்து we don't even realize that. Subhanallah. So what I'm trying to say here is, after Industry 3.0, we are actually at the brink of fourth industrial revolution. Industry 4.0 அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க, right? So we are actually at the crux, right? We are at the brink of fourth industrial revolution. So what is happening in fourth industrial revolution அப்படின்னு சொன்னா, இப்போ நாம வந்து அதை எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் பண்ண ஆரம்பிச்சிட்டோம். We all have started to experience this. What is the, what is so special about, Industry 4.0 அப்படின்னு சொன்னா, it creates, right, it eliminates all the barriers between cyber biological systems, right? It is a infusion between cyber and biological system. இப்போ நம்ம என்ன செய்ய போறோம் அப்படின்னா, for example, இப்போ நாம ஹியூமன்ஸா இருக்கோம், we are a part of a biological system, right? Cyber system இருக்கு. For example, நம்ம we can take, for example, computers, right? Financial systems இருக்கு, அதே போல நிறைய manufacturing systems இருக்கு, right? நிறைய supply chains இருக்கு. எல்லாமே வந்து இப்போ digitization ஆக்கப்படுது. Using technology, using computers, manual செஞ்ச வேலை எல்லாமே வந்து இப்போ கம்ப்யூட்டர் மூலமா செய்ய ஆரம்பிச்சிட்டாங்க. In the pandemic, especially during pandemic, you must have seen it. A lot of businesses, went online. எல்லாமே வந்து digitize பண்ண ஆரம்பிச்சிட்டாங்க. And the rate of digitization accelerated like anything, right? It became so rapid. Everything became digitized in a very, very rapid manner. How did it happen? Abdin Sonna, with the help of, internet, the satellites, the devices we had applications, different applications, we had different platforms, and then the infrastructure. It didn't happen overnight. It was all development that happened over a period of time, right? Over so many decades. But now the acceleration to digitization is so rapid, so fast. Unless or until we capitalize on the digitization that is happening, we will be left nowhere. We will be reduced to customers in no time. இப்போ இந்த டெவலப்மெண்ட்ஸ் எல்லாம் பாத்தீங்கன்னா இண்டஸ்ட்ரியல் ரெவல்யூஷன் 1 அது அந்த டெவலப்மெண்ட் நடந்த பீரியட் பாத்தீங்கன்னா ரொம்ப நீண்ட காலத்துல அது நடந்தது. இண்டஸ்ட்ரியல் ரெவல்யூஷன் 2 பாத்தீங்கன்னா கொஞ்சம் குறுகிய காலத்துல நடந்தது. Industrial Revolution 3, right? Industry 3 பாத்தீங்கன்னா it happened in a much smaller period, right? From 70s until 21st century. 2000ல பாத்தீங்கன்னா நிறைய டெவலப்மெண்ட். Computers were developed and they were made so smart that we now have computers in our palm, right? இன்னும் போக போக இன்னும் பெரிய லெவல்ல டெவலப்மெண்ட்ஸ் எல்லாம் ஆகும், right? But now the industrial revolution 4.0, industry 4.0 அப்படின்னு சொல்றோம் இல்லையா, அது வந்து it will happen even at a much smaller period. ரொம்ப குறுகிய காலத்துல பல அட்வான்ஸ்மென்ட் ஆகிறதுக்கான வாய்ப்புகள் இருக்கு. You can go after this session, inshallah, after today's session, you can go and read about what is Industrial Revolution 4.0 in case you haven't read about it. Or you can go YouTube and try to, browse some videos and try to understand what is Industrial Revolution 4.0. But just to give you an example, what you see on the screen right now is, a smart city that will come into existence in future. Everything will be connected, brothers and sisters, right? There's something called IoT. நீங்க கேள்விப்பட்டிருப்பீங்க, Internet of Things. So what is Internet of Things அப்படின்னு சொன்னா, இப்போ நம்ம சுத்தி, இப்போ நீங்க உங்க வீட்லயே பாருங்க, ஃபேன் இருக்கு, லைட் இருக்கு, கிளாக் இருக்கு, you have your devices, computers, you have charging points, you have kitchen, right? Inside kitchen you have so many appliances, right? You have doors, you have so many things around you. In future you will see all those things will be interconnected. எல்லாமே வந்து கனெக்ட் ஆயிரும். எப்படின்னு சொன்னா, using the help of cloud, with the help of computers, using the help of sensors, right? Smart sensors and so on and so forth. Not only the cyber systems, right? Not only the things in front of us, but also our own human bodies, the plants and animals. எப்படி ஆகும் அப்படின்னு சொன்னா, நம்ம பாடிக்குள்ள வந்து சிப்ஸ் பொருத்துவாங்க, சென்சர்ஸ் பொருத்துவாங்க. Already this is happening in many cases. You must have heard that there are already so many implants ன்னு சொல்லி already plan பண்ண ஆரம்பிச்சிட்டாங்க. நிறைய இடத்துல நிறைய டெக்னாலஜிஸ் வந்து already வந்துருச்சு. Maybe in the military systems, people are already using so many advanced technologies that they haven't even released yet to the consumer market. சரியா? So this is what will happen, right? As you can see on the screen, everything will be connected. For example, we already know, right? In Malaysia, you have so many vendors. இப்போ பாத்தீங்கன்னா supply chains எடுத்தோம் அப்படின்னு சொன்னா, for example, you take the products, right? Nowadays we are more comfortable to buy a product. Say for example, you want to buy a mobile phone, we prefer to buy online than going to a shop. Of course, there are people who still love to go to the shops to experience the product, பார்த்துட்டு எப்படி இருக்கு features எல்லாம் experience பண்ணோம், feel பண்ணோம் அப்படி நினைக்கிறவங்களும் இருக்காங்க. But also the number of people buying products online have also increased. And this trend is going to accelerate according to almost all the experts around the world. Worldwide consensus என்னன்னு பார்த்தோம்னா, this trend of digitization of shopping, buying, selling is going to increase. And we all are able to see, I see some, mashallah, some brothers are already into e-commerce, right? In our community, I saw the participants list பார்க்கும்போது சில பேர் already பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கிறதா சொல்லிருக்கீங்க. I'm so happy about it. So what I'm saying is, this is going to accelerate. You see, mashallah, on top of this guy, there is a drone. நிறைய பேர் யோசிக்கலாம், இதெல்லாம் சாத்தியமா, இதெல்லாம் நடக்கிற காரியமா, ட்ரோன் எல்லாம் வச்சு எப்படி டெலிவரி எல்லாம் பண்ண முடியும், லட்சக்கணக்கில் வீடு இருக்கு. There are so, we are still thinking if it is going to be a reality or not. But guess what? There are already people around the world at different parts of the world who are doing delivery using drones. And it's just a matter of time. Malaysia comes up with a new regulation that will allow people to use drones for delivery. And for your information, right, in Malaysia, there is already a company, not a company, but few companies which are doing drone-based, services. Adla one company they have signed a MOU with DHL. DHL தெரியும்ல உங்களுக்கெல்லாம். DHL is a big courier service, right? Around the world. They have one of the largest companies in the world, right? DHL. So this company has signed MOU with DHL. So what I'm trying to say is, it's a matter of time. இன்னும் கொஞ்ச நாட்கள்ல நம்ம பாப்போம் நம்ம வீட்டுக்கு மேல drones எல்லாம் பறந்துட்டு இருக்கும். Right? So we should be thinking ahead. We should know where we are today, where we were in the past, and where the world is heading in future. இது நம்மளுக்கு ரியலைஸ் ஆகலன்னா நம்ம அப்படியே we will be content with what Allah has provided us, right? ஏதோ ஒரு இன்கம் வந்துட்டு இருக்கு, ஏதோ ஒரு ஜாப் இருக்கு அப்படின்னு சொல்லி நம்ம அப்படியே போயிட்டே இருப்போம். So we shouldn't be like that, right? This also reminds, mashallah, all the participants, I believe, are believers. So I'm going to tell you a hadith, paraphrase the hadith, whereby Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, there will be a time when the ummah will be in large numbers, right? Muslims, we are 1 point, I don't know how many billions, right? We are a huge population around the world. But Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, our value எப்படி இருக்கும்னா கடல்ல இருக்கக்கூடிய froth மாதிரி இருக்கும்னு சொன்னாங்க. We will be like froth. நீங்க பீச் எல்லாம் போனீங்கன்னா பார்க்கலாம். The froth has no value. It just comes to the shore as the waves, propagate, and then it just disappears in thin air. It doesn't exist. It has no value, right? So we shouldn't be living like froth. We shouldn't be living like cattle. We want to be people who leave an impact, who create an impact in this dunya, right? So this is what we all must be striving for. Not only that, brothers. Not only delivery, not only supply chains, even the manufacturing. If mashallah, I'm also so glad to mention that some of our brothers have been striving their best to automate their production. Mashallah, I'm glad to mention that some people in our community have already employed advanced cooking techniques for production of food. I'm sure you know who I'm referring to. I don't want to mention the names here. So mashallah, this kind of things are going to accelerate even further, right? இப்போ நம்ம இப்போ பாத்தீங்கன்னா partial automation தான் நடந்துட்டு இருக்கு. நம்ம மக்கள் எல்லாம் for example, I'm giving you the example of food because most of us have that background. And the washing எல்லாம் நம்ம human based washing எல்லாம் முடிஞ்சு போச்சு. Human based addition of ingredients and cooking அதெல்லாம் கொஞ்சம் கொஞ்சம் அப்படியே கம்மி ஆயிட்டே வருது. So this thing is going to further accelerate in future. More robotics will be deployed, right? As we progress through technological evolution, all this human intervention will slowly cut down. And guess what? The efficiency of the businesses is going to shoot up like anything. அது எப்படி சாத்தியம் அப்படின்னு சொன்னா, you can see here, right? Everything is data. Everything is data. இப்போ நாம நிறைய பேர் நம்ம business, நம்ம கம்யூனிட்டில, நம்ம மலேசியாலயும் சரி, around the world, mashallah, we have all tried to digitize. எல்லாத்தையும் digitize பண்றதுக்கான முயற்சிகளை நம்ம நிறைய பேர் ஈடுபட்டுட்டோம். But then many people do not focus on data, because data is absolutely important. In future, everything will be data based. Adanala, we need to have something called data analytics. Data vachi nama process panni, once we have the data, we know where exactly the opportunities are, where exactly we are spending the resources, which process is taking more time, and so on and so forth. So data is also going to play such a vital role in businesses in future, especially for startups. So we need to not only focus on building startups, but also along this line, along the way we build startups, we need to also harvest data. முடிஞ்ச அளவுக்கு டேட்டா ஹார்வெஸ்ட் பண்ணணும். ஸ்டார்ட்அப் செய்யும் பொழுதே நம்ம டேட்டா எப்படி ஸ்டோர் பண்ண போறோம், டேட்டா எப்படி ஹார்வெஸ்ட் பண்ண போறோம், இந்த டேட்டா வச்சு நம்ம ஃபியூச்சர்ல எப்படி நம்ம பிசினஸ் பிளான ஃபர்தரா டெவலப் பண்ணலாம் அப்படின்றதெல்லாம் நடக்க போகுது. So this is right. So for example, kitchens, right? Now in our community, we have so many people who are into restaurant business or food-based business. You know about cloud kitchens, right? In case you don't, so it's a very simple concept. You have, if say, for example, you are an aggregator, or you're an aggregator platform, or you are somebody who runs a restaurant and taking, for example, services such as Food Panda, Grab, அது இதுன்னு சொல்லி. So இப்போ now என்ன ஆகுதுன்னா, Grabல நீங்க கூட ஆர்டர் பண்ணிருப்பீங்க, Food Pandaல ஆர்டர் பண்ணிருப்பீங்க, Damakanல பண்ணிருப்பீங்க. So now when somebody orders the food, order is delivered to different restaurants. The concept of cloud kitchen is bring all the different restaurants into a single kitchen space, and then everything will be produced in a centralized kitchen space, and then orders can be delivered. With this, you're able to save a lot of resources. You're able to enhance the overall efficiency of the system, and perhaps you're able to cater to customers needs with a much accelerated rate than before. So இது வந்து இந்த மாதிரி எல்லா ஃபீல்ட்ஸ்லயும், எல்லா ப்ரொடக்ஷன், மேனுஃபேக்சரிங், ஃபுட் பேஸ்ட், health sector, finance sector, எல்லாத்துலயும் வந்து this kind of transformation is going to happen. Some of among the participants, I saw one person express desire to develop a startup for car wash. Car wash வந்து நம்ம இப்போ for example car wash பாத்தீங்கன்னா இந்த கான்செப்ட் எல்லாம் ஆல்ரெடி நிறைய பேர் பண்ணிட்டாங்க, right? Car wash வந்து நம்ம டிஜிட்டைஸ் பண்ண முடியுமா அப்படின்னா கண்டிப்பா முடியும். How is it possible? You need two things basically right now. In a startup you need two things. ரெண்டு விஷயங்களை வந்து நம்ம வச்சிட்டு இருந்தோம்னா எந்த பிசினஸ் வேணாலும் நம்ம வந்து டிஜிட்டைஸ் பண்ணிடலாம். எப்படி? One is you need cloud space. You need cloud space as well as the payment options. Payment வந்து எல்லாமே நம்ம மேனுவலா பண்ணிட்டு போறோம். For example, Stripe is one payment option you have, whereby you use banking services. They have digitized it for us. Manual payments எல்லாம் eliminate பண்ணி எல்லாம் ஆன்லைன்ல. இது ஒண்ணாச்சு. ரெண்டாவது, we need cloud service, right? You need a website, you need an app whereby people can go and access your services. They can browse through, they can see what you offer, what you sell, what you produce, and then they can make payment. இது ரெண்டு இருந்தா வந்து நம்ம எந்த பிசினஸ் வேணாலும் நம்ம வந்து டிஜிட்டைஸ் பண்றதுக்கான சாத்தியம் உண்டு. Now I'm going to give you a break in 5 minutes inshallah, but before that, இது எல்லாம் வந்து amazing developments ஆயிட்டு இருந்தது. This is not new. We all have been sailing through these developments over the past so many years, right? Especially in the last 2 years வந்து நிறைய வந்து நம்ம இதெல்லாம் பார்த்தோம், இந்த மாதிரி advancements. But suddenly, subhanallah, COVID came, right? It became a pandemic. So much so, right? The COVID resulted in unparalleled economic shock. நிறைய பேருக்கு வந்து for example, entire generation of 600 million South Asian children. This includes India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, some parts of Southeast Asian countries, and so on. இதெல்லாம் வந்து developing economies. இதுல இருக்கிற நிறைய பேருக்கு வந்து பயங்கர அடி. நிறைய பேர் பாத்தீங்கன்னா, I don't know, maybe some of you know what's the situation right now, but many people are struggling to even meet their end needs. ரொம்ப கஷ்டத்துல இருக்காங்க நிறைய பேர். United Nations, right, estimates that about 600 million South Asian children are really in big trouble. Can you imagine? 600 million என்றது half a billion. It's a big number, brothers and sisters. It's a huge problem, right? இப்போ நிறைய பேர் பாத்தீங்கன்னா workers at risk by sector, நிறைய workers around the world, around different sectors, different region, பயங்கர அடி. நிறைய பேருக்கு வந்து ஜாபே இல்லாம போயிடுச்சு. Maybe if you just look around your relatives, your friends, your colleagues, நிறைய பேர் வந்து ஜாப் லூஸ் பண்ணிருப்பாங்க. Just imagine, right? In the last 2 weeks, it was a complete MCO in Malaysia, movement control order. Many restaurants were shut down. Imagine how many workers, who were suppliers, who were cashiers, who were accountants. Many people lost jobs, right? Nama vandu alhamdulillah, if you are earning a living, you should thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as much as possible, right? So we are all really blessed if we have a job at this point of time, because millions and millions of people around the world have lost jobs, right? At the same time, United Nations la enna solranga appadina, இதெல்லாம் பெரிய பிரச்சனை உண்டாக்கிருச்சு. கோவிட் வந்து நிறைய பெரிய இஷ்யூஸ் வந்து வேர்ல்ட் வைட் வந்து கிரியேட் பண்ணிருச்சு. பட் அட் த சேம் டைம் யுனைடெட் நேஷன்ஸ் சேஸ் bold and creative solutions needed for a sustainable post-pandemic economy. Here is where I believe people like yourself and myself can come up with solutions. Problem இருக்கு, ஆனா we need to come up with solution. So how to look into problems and so on and so forth, inshallah we will see. But I want you to imagine, right? I want you to imagine that you are able to develop a pitch contributing to sustainable sustainability with a great value proposition, right? And business model in just 10 sessions. Idu sathiyama abdina, I believe inshallah it is possible, and we can achieve this together, inshallah biiznillah. I'm very confident about it. So what I want you to do is take 2-3 minutes break and contemplate on what we just discussed and take this quiz for yourself. நான் ஒரு 10 கேள்வி கேட்க போறேன் உங்களுக்கு, 10 questions, right? I want you to take a piece of paper or your diary or your notes, whatever it is, and answer this 10 questions. First is, are you absolutely obsessed, right, with I think you can read the question, it is hidden from me, so I can't read it. I hope you can read it. Second is, you absolutely hate obeying rules or following others or working in a team. Third, you always see things differently to others, even when you were a child, right? Fourth is, you're very careful with money, watching every single dollar and cent. You're very independent, rombo independent ah irka kudi aalu pananu, right? Your goal is to is highest salary possible. Iduva illa எனக்கு salary la interest illa, எனக்கு வந்து சொந்தமா சம்பாதிக்கணும், right? You're naturally a risk taker. You're always optimistic. எப்பவுமே சில பேர் இருப்பாங்க, இது நடக்காது, இது சாத்தியம் இல்ல, இதெல்லாம் முடியாது, அது செய்ய முடியாது அப்படின்னு இருப்பாங்க. அப்படியா? இல்ல முயற்சி செஞ்சா இன்ஷால்லா அல்லாஹ்வுடைய உதவி இருந்தா நம்ம வந்து கரெக்டான எஃபர்ட்ஸ் போட்டா, கமிட்மெண்டோட இருந்தோம்னா, ஃபோக்கஸ்டா இருந்தோம்னா நம்மளாலயும் அச்சீவ் பண்ண முடியும் அப்படின்னு நினைக்கிறவங்களா அப்படின்னு சொல்லி பாத்துக்கிறீங்க. Question number 9, failure has no place for those who design for success. இவங்களுக்கு சக்சஸ், இவங்க விதியில சக்சஸ் சொல்லி எழுதி இருந்ததுன்னா, and if this person is really determined to achieve success, nothing can stop him அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க இல்லையா? சோ அந்த மாதிரி நினைக்கக்கூடிய ஆளா நீங்க? 10th question is, people describe you, your friends, your colleagues, your family as reliable and likely to succeed. I want you to answer these questions with yes or no, or true or false. I'll give you next 2 or 3 minutes, and in the meantime you can post your questions to me. If you have any questions, you can post your questions, you can make any comments. Brother Zaman, maybe you can let people open up their mics and speak if they want to.
Okay. I think they can. I will ask them to unmute.
Okay, if somebody wants to speak, you can speak as well. Okay, if you are done with this quiz, please let me know if you're done. If you're done, just type it out in the chat box. Okay, what's the answer? What's the answer to these quiz? Abdin sonna, look at the screen, brothers. If your answer to question 1 to 5 is true, it is correct, right? You get 1 mark. If your answer to 6 to 10 is false, you get 1 mark. Okay, so உங்களுடைய ஸ்கோர் என்னன்னு சொல்லி எல்லாரும் chatல டைப் பண்ணுங்க பாப்போம். Let me see how much is your score.
Absolutely with your passion for whatever.
If you have any question, you can speak. Otherwise, you can mute your microphones. Can I see some? Can I see your scores, people? If you are done, please put up your score.
Assalamu alaikum, doctor.
Walaikum salam. Yes, brother, go ahead. உங்க பேரு சொல்லிக்கிறீங்க.
பேர் ஃபைசல்.
Okay, brother. Yes.
இது மார்க் வந்து ஃபர்ஸ்ட் 5 क्वेश्चन வந்து நீங்க கரெக்ட் ஆன்சர் பண்ணீங்கன்னா 1 மார்க் சொன்னீங்க.
If your answer to first 5 question வந்து yes அப்படினு இருந்துச்சுனா, your answer is your mark is for each question 1 mark. For question number 6 until 10 உங்க answer no அப்படினு வந்ததுனா அது வந்து then you get 1 mark each for each question.
Oh.
First 5 questions உடைய answer வந்து yes, second 5 questions உடைய answer வந்து no. உங்க ஸ்கோர் என்னன்னு சொல்லிக்கிறீங்க எல்லாரும். Can you please hurry up? Everyone hurry up please.
Yes.
Okay, mashallah, I can see some answers coming in. I see mashallah people scoring 7, 4, 8, 8, 8, 8, 6, 4, 6, 6, 6, 8, 8, 8, 6, 6. Mashallah, many people are above 5. Very good, very good. Okay.
So, இதுல you are very independent அப்படின்னா நீங்க என்ன கேக்குறீங்க?
நீங்க வந்து ஒரு காரியம் செய்யறதுக்கு you don't really depend on many people. யாராவது ஹெல்ப் பண்ணா ஓகே, இல்லனா நீங்களே முயற்சியோட செஞ்சுட்டு போயிட்டே இருப்பீங்க. That's what it means by independent. You are very independent.
Okay.
Okay. 8 out of 10, 6 out of 10. Mashallah, many people have scored 8. Fantastic. I'm so happy to see this score. Saleh Ghani, 7 out of 10. Muhammad Yunus, 10, 8 out of 10.
Yes, no,
okay, very good, very good. So you can contemplate on your score based on the screen that is coming up. Can you all look at the screen? If you all scored 10 out of 10, right? If you all scored 10 out of 10, you're probably the next big story. You're really, inshallah, destined to become a very, very successful entrepreneur. Okay. And I saw that many people have scored 8 out of 10. If you scored 8 out of 10, you're right there, right? Just go find your co-founder and get going. Now, பார்த்ததுல நிறைய answers 8 out of 10 and 7 out of 10. Subhanallah, it means naturally you have the tendency to become a successful startup entrepreneur. All you need to do is இத்தனை நாள் procrastinate பண்ணது போதும். You just go find your co-founder, start working on your idea and get going. Nothing must be stopping you now. Just get going. Start. I mean, go ahead. That's it. If your score is 6 out of 10, you just need to work on your ideas and develop some entrepreneurial skills, right? உட்கார்ந்து கொஞ்சம் ஸ்டடி பண்ணுங்க, கொஞ்சம் lectures எல்லாம் attend பண்ணுங்க, கொஞ்சம் அப்படியே பாருங்க, try to figure out how to do things and so on, right? If your score is 4 out of 10, right, you need to really get inspired, right? Learn from a lot of stories around you. Take inspiration from those people around you who have become successful entrepreneurs, successful businessmen, right? Look around, inshallah. If your score is 2, right, it's never too late, right? You can always, buckle up. You can always cheer up, right? And get started, inshallah, right? But if your score is 1, நான் உங்களை வந்து மன்னிக்கவே மாட்டேன். Are you really kidding me? You can't, be scoring 0 or 1, right? You really need to have something positive in you. அப்படி இல்லைன்னா நீங்க வந்து எனக்கு கால் பண்ணுங்க. Speak to me, inshallah, I need to fix you, right? So this was only on a funny note. In no way all these numbers are any form of indicative to determine your real worth. Mashallah, I believe all of you are worth many times than the scores that perhaps you must have got by answering these questions. So I mean, this is just to tell you, right? You can ask yourself questions like this. இந்த மாதிரிலாம் உங்களுக்கு பதில் வந்தது அப்படின்னு சொன்னா, it means mashallah you're there to be a successful entrepreneur, inshallah. So with this small exercise, do you think we need a break or we can continue? Who says we need a break? Who thinks we need a break?
We can continue.
Yeah, odd number result irundhadunu sonna you think of yourself as a positive. For example, somebody scored 7 or 5, right? You fall into the category of 6 out of 10 or 8 out of 10. So be positive, inshallah. Let's move on, brothers. I see, mashallah, people are keen to continue. So let me continue. All right. So nammuluடைய intention enna appadina, at the end of this series, I want every single one of you in this series, right, to have an application ready for a venture capital or a angel investor for funding. I want everybody to be worthy enough to secure 50,000 or 100,000 to begin with. If you are, like starting absolutely from scratch, I want you to make yourself eligible and worthy enough to secure initial 50 or 100,000 ringgits. எல்லாருக்கும் கொஞ்சம் I'm trying to set your, expectations. நம்மளுடைய டார்கெட்டே என்னன்னா இந்த 10 செஷன் முடிஞ்சதோட I want every one of you, right, to be able to come up with a pitch deck with a complete business idea with which you can go and secure your first 50,000 or 100,000 ringgits. இது சாத்தியமா அப்படின்னா கண்டிப்பா சாத்தியம். Inshallah, it is possible. And inshallah, we'll try to look through it, inshallah. சரியா? So இதுல முதல் கேள்வி என்ன வரும் அப்படின்னு சொன்னா, when you submit any application, people will ask about your idea. உங்களுடைய ஐடியா என்ன சொல்லுங்க, உங்களுடைய ஐடியால what kind of value you offer is the first question any startup, accelerator or incubator or any funding agency will ask you. முதல்ல பாக்குறதே இதுதான், உங்களுடைய ஐடியால என்ன வேல்யூ இருக்கு அப்படின்னு சொல்லி தான் பாப்பாங்க. So in today's session, in the next 1 hour 25 minutes or so, we are going to see how to build a value, how to create value for your company. Now unga ellarkum sollirna, right, this definition for startup is nothing but your to search for a repeatable and scalable business model. I'm just showing it here in case you forgot. So ipo nama enna panna porom appadina, now after answering those 10 questions, you have already set the stage for yourself. Most of you already qualified, right, that you are mashallah already there. You have enough desire, enough skills, enough intuition to be an entrepreneur. எல்லாருமே வந்து most of them, very handful தான், 4-5 பேர் தான் வந்து out of all the people attending right now, out of 50, 4-5 பேருக்கு தான் வந்து கொஞ்சம் கம்மியான ரிசல்ட் வந்திருக்கு. But most of you, mashallah, you have all the qualifications, all the skills that you need to be an entrepreneur, mashallah. So having said that, second என்ன பண்ணணும் அப்படின்னா, நீங்க ஒரு டிசைட் பண்ணணும். சரி, நம்ம எந்த பிசினஸ் செய்ய போறோம், எந்த ஃபீல்டுல நம்ம வந்து ஃபுட் இண்டஸ்ட்ரியில செய்ய போறோமா, சர்வீஸ் செக்டர்ல செய்ய போறோமா, இல்ல ஃபைனான்ஸ்ல செய்ய போறோமா, இல்ல டெக்னாலஜி பேஸ்ட் டெக் ஐசிடில செய்ய போறோமா, கம்யூனிகேஷன்ஸ்ல செய்ய போறோமா, இல்ல ஏதாவது சப்ளை செயின்ல செய்ய போறோமா, ட்ரேடிங்கா, எந்த ஃபீல்டுன்றத வந்து நீங்க முதல்ல டிசைட் பண்ணுங்க. சரியா? இது நம்பர் 2. Then go and read about that field. இப்போ அதுல இருக்கக்கூடிய காம்படிட்டர்ஸ் எல்லாம் யாரு என்னென்னலாம் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்காங்க, யாரெல்லாம் ஸ்டார்ட் அப் மாதிரி நடத்துறாங்க, யாரெல்லாம் ட்ரெடிஷனல் வேல நடத்துறாங்க அப்படின்றது you have to go and research. Third is, when you go and research, when you study the list of people already in the business, you will find out, okay, இவங்க வந்து இந்த மாதிரி பிசினஸ் செய்றாங்க, அடுத்த கம்பெனி வேற பிசினஸ் மாடல் இருக்கு, தேர்ட் வந்து வேற மாதிரி செய்றாங்க. So you will come up with a list of top 10, top 20, top 25 companies in that field. இல்லனா சில ஐடியாஸ்க்கு வந்து அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு கம்பெனியே இருந்திருக்காது. You understand what I'm saying, brothers and sisters? You need to list down all the companies which are similar to the idea you are trying to do a startup, or somewhat overlapping, somewhat related. அந்த மாதிரி வந்து இருக்கிற கம்பெனிஸ் எல்லாம் என்னென்ன கம்பெனிஸ் இருக்குன்னு சொல்லி நீங்க try to Google and try to reflect, try to look around and list down all of them. And then we need to write a business plan and choose a business structure, and you need to have a team, co-founder, and start paperwork and get rolling. இது சொல்றதுக்கு ஈஸியா இருக்கு, எப்படி செய்யறது அது சொல்லுங்க அப்படின்னு சில பேர் நினைக்கலாம். So we'll try to look into it now, inshallah. Before I go and tell you what is a business plan or business model or what is value proposition, I want to tell you how the startup funding works so that you understand. நம்ம டார்கெட் சொல்லிட்டேன், 100,000 செக்யூர் பண்ணணும் நீங்க எல்லாரும் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி. அது எப்படி செக்யூர் பண்றது அப்படின்னா, அது எப்படி ஃபண்டிங் நடக்கும்? இப்போ 100,000 வந்து நம்ம செக்யூர் பண்ணிட்டோம். இல்ல சில பேர் நினைக்கலாம், எனக்கு வந்து யாரும் 100,000 கொடுக்க தேவையில்ல, எங்க அத்தாவே வந்து எனக்கு ஸ்பான்சர் பண்ற அளவுக்கு கெப்பாசிட்டி இருக்கு, இல்ல என்னுடைய பேங்க் அக்கௌண்ட்லயும் இனஃப் மணி இருக்கு, ஐ கேன் ஸ்டார்ட் த பிசினஸ் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி, இல்ல எங்க அங்கிள் வந்து எனக்கு ஸ்பான்சர் பண்ணுவாங்க அப்படின்னு சொல்லி எல்லாம் நினைச்சீங்கன்னா, then you are already crossing this stage, right? இல்ல அப்படின்னு சொன்னா முதல்ல ஐடியேஷன் ஸ்டேஜ், வெறும் ஐடியா மட்டும் தான் வச்சுட்டு உட்காந்துட்டு இருக்கோம், அடுத்து என்ன பண்றது தெரியல அப்படின்னா, you are 100% of nothing. உங்க கம்பெனியோட வேல்யூவேஷன் இஸ் nothing, right? It's just zero. then you have co-founder, right? Co-founder வந்து நீங்க கூட்டிட்டு வருவீங்க, ஒரு பார்ட்னரை கூட்டிட்டு வருவீங்க. இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு ஐடியா இருக்குப்பா, வாங்க 2 பேர் சேர்ந்து செய்வோம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி. அதுக்கு பிறகு you can either bootstrapனா என்ன, உங்களுடைய ஓன் அக்கவுண்ட்ல இனஃப் மணி இருக்குன்னா அதை எடுத்து தேவையான பிசினஸ்க்கு எங்கெங்கெல்லாம் தேவையாவதோ அங்கெல்லாம் நீங்க செலவு பண்ணுவீங்க. And then if money is not enough in your accounts, you look for your family, friends, relatives, அவங்க கிட்ட இருந்து fundraise பண்றது. அதுக்கு பிறகு you can go for seed round, right? You can go for first round, second round, series A, B, C, அந்த மாதிரி போயிட்டே இருக்கலாம். So you can see the valuation, right? At 1 million valuation எப்படி இருக்கு, 4 million, அதுக்கு பிறகு it goes in billions, right? So this is how a startup grows, right? எப்படி grow ஆகுதுன்னு பாத்தீங்களா? இங்க பாத்தீங்களா, you just have for example 15,000. யாராவது வந்து ஒரு 50,000 கொடுங்க, 40,000, 20,000, உங்க ஃபேமிலிலேயே ஆப்பா நீங்க வந்து ரொம்ப ஆர்வமா இருக்கீங்க, உங்க ஐடியாவை நான் உங்ககிட்ட இருந்து கேட்டு தெரிஞ்சுக்கிட்டேன், I'm going to give you 40,000, 50,000, இந்தாங்க நீங்க செய்யுங்க, என்ன வந்து இன்வெஸ்டரா எடுத்துக்கிறீங்க அப்படின்னு சொல்லி one of your uncles may say that, or your dad may say that, your mom may say that, your sister may say that, right? So this is how a capital increases, right? How much money you get and how much the valuation becomes at each stage. தெரியுதா எல்லாருக்கும்? So our target is to raise first 100,000. இதுக்கு பிறகு you can bootstrap, and after that you should aim for 100,000, 50,000, 150,000, அந்த மாதிரி aim பண்ணணும். So this is our aim right now, inshallah. So now let's go and look into business model. இது வரைக்கும் எல்லாருக்கும் விளங்கிச்சா நம்ம எதை நோக்கி போயிட்டு இருக்கோம் அப்படின்றது கிளியரா இருக்கா? Are you all clear on what is our immediate target? நம்ம எதை நோக்கி போயிட்டு இருக்கோம், what are we trying to do here அப்படின்னு கிளியரா இருக்கா? Okay, yeah, I can read your minds. Okay.
Anas have a question. Anas, what's the question? What is your question?
Who has a question? Somebody has a question?
Anas Kafoor.
Yes, brother Anas, go ahead.
These are very general, basic. I think everyone have this kind of questions, right? If we share the thoughts with our what do you call it? Fundraiser, the founder, funding agency, lah.
கொஞ்சம் சத்தமா பேசுறீங்களா Anas? Can you speak a little bit louder? Your voice is not very clear.
Okay. இப்போ நம்ம ஐடியா ஷேர் பண்றோம், இது செய்ய போறோம் co-founder கூட.
சரி.
Will there be any risk, or they took our ideas and then they employ it, and this has been one of my really stopping for me.
Okay, this is a fantastic question, right? I'm going to explain that in a bit, but since you raised this question, I'm going to answer this. Anas enna கேட்டாரு எல்லாருக்கும் விளங்கிச்சா? Anas asked, if I share my idea, business idea, say for example with a wealthy uncle, எனக்கு ஒரு uncle இருக்காங்க, இல்ல I have a friend, right, who may not be a very close friend, but this friend is a very rich friend. அவர்ட்ட வந்து he has a lot of millions, right, sitting in his account, and he does nothing with that. Perhaps if I approach him with a very, very potential business idea, don't you think he can fund me? But at the same time, Anas has a fear. The friend வந்து என்னுடைய business idea எடுத்துட்டு ஓடிடுவாரோ, இல்ல அவர் போய் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணிடுவாரோ அப்படின்னு சொல்லி நிறைய பேர் நினைக்கலாம். இந்த மாதிரி வந்து நிறைய கேள்விகள் வரும். I have attended a lot of lectures in the past by serial entrepreneurs. The serial entrepreneurs na yarna, the people who do no jobs. Their only focus is to build companies and grow and sell. அவங்க பேர் வந்து serial entrepreneurs. அவங்க வேலையே தான் சின்ன சின்ன கம்பெனிஸ் வந்து ஆரம்பிப்பாங்க, they will try to grow it to a stage and then they will exit, right? I have met a lot of serial entrepreneurs. What they say is idea means nothing. Brother Anas, please take note here. Idea means nothing. You can have a brilliant idea. What matters is the execution part. But of course, right, when you're talking, you have to reveal A to Z of your idea. அங்க சில மெயின் பாயிண்ட்ஸ் வந்து நீங்க கொஞ்சம் சீக்ரெட்டா வச்சுக்கலாம். அதுல there is no problem with that. Reveal everything. You don't have to reveal how are you going to execute, right? You don't have to reveal, say for example, who is going to develop your platform. யார் வந்து உங்களுடைய வெப்சைட் டெவலப் பண்ண போறா, அந்த வெப்சைட் குள்ள உள்ள சில டெக்னாலஜிஸ் எல்லாம் நீங்க வந்து கான்ஃபிடென்ஷியலா வச்சுக்கலாம். But as such, the idea itself is not really something that you can keep it as a secret. The reason is, I challenge you, right? This is a challenge, open challenge to all of you. If you think if you are thinking that you have an amazing idea, business idea, after this session, go and Google. நீங்க ஐடியா நினைச்சிருப்பீங்க இல்லையா, அந்த ஐடியாவை போய் கூகுள் பண்ணுங்க. I guarantee you that you will come across at least 3 to 10 startups or 3 to 10 companies at some part of the world doing something similar. I'm absolutely sure. Or at least 50% வந்து நீங்க செய்ய நினைக்கிறத வந்து ஆல்ரெடி யாராவது செஞ்சுட்டு இருப்பாங்க. Okay, so is that clear, brothers and sisters? What I'm saying is, having a brilliant idea is nothing in this day and time. It's all about execution, right? How efficiently are you able to execute? இதுலயும் வந்து ஸ்டார்ட் அப்ல நம்ம வந்து டிஸ்கஸ் பண்ணோம் இல்லையா, இந்த இனாகுரல் செஷன்லயே டிஸ்கஸ் பண்ணோம். If you look at the growth curve for a typical SME, small and medium scale industry, the growth is like very linear. இப்படியே தான் போயிட்டு இருக்கும். ஸ்டார்ட் அப்ல என்ன இருக்கும்னா ஹாக்கி ஸ்டிக் மாதிரி இருக்கும். You know, hockey stick is like this. Initially there might be a fear, we call it as valley of death, and the valley of death முடிஞ்சதோட அப்படியே it will just shoot up, it will go exponential, right? The growth will be exponential. You understand? So the point is, how fast you are able to do is a big question in a startup. Startup is all about time. It's all about how faster you are able to validate your business idea and, you know, achieve the desired numbers. Is it clear, brother Anas? Did I answer your question? Brother Anas, did I answer your question? Okay, I hope I answered. Let me move on.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
let me
brother.
move on. Okay, thank you. Okay, so now let's focus on the core of today's session. இன்னைக்கு இந்த செஷன்ல நீங்க ரொம்ப முக்கியமான ஒரு டேக் அவே எடுத்துட்டு போறீங்கன்னா, it's a part of a business model, right? So what is a business model in the first place? மூணு விஷயத்தை நீங்க ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கிறீங்க. You need to remember 3 things. Business model சொல்லி நிறைய கேப்பீங்க இதுக்கு மேல, because startup is all about business model. When you hear this word, this jargon, technical jargon, business model அப்படின்னு சொல்லி கேள்விப்பட்டீங்கன்னா மூணு விஷயம் தான். I'm going to simplify in Tamil because அது சில சமயம் தமிழ்ல சொன்னா ரொம்ப ஈஸியா விளங்கிடுவீங்க அப்படின்னு, right? First thing is, everything it takes to make something. Say for example, you are going to, you know, do a startup. Just give me an example. What startup you want to do? Say for example, furniture. You want to connect, you know, you want to make a furniture which is, you know, tech based, and, you know, it has some all kind of fancy technical stuff, right? So all it takes to make that particular product or a service, it can be even a service. Say for example, service can be you are going to deploy drones for some business, right? Say for example, இப்போ வந்து delivery எல்லாமே வந்து பைக்ல பண்றாங்க, கார்ல பண்றாங்க. So you want to deploy drones, right? So what do you need to do this kind of business? You need drones, you need technicians, you need spare parts, you need launch pads, you need, you know, launch as well as you know, receiving pads, right? You need all those kind of things. So anything and everything it takes to make something is called the is a part of business model. First point business model, everything it takes to make something. Second வந்து என்ன, everything it takes to sell that thing. இப்போ நீங்க வந்து for example ஒரு ப்ராடக்ட் செஞ்சிட்டீங்க, இப்போ ஒரு ஃபர்னிச்சர் செஞ்சிட்டீங்க, இல்ல ஒரு இப்போ நான் சொன்ன service is delivery service, right? For example, it's because it's easy to understand. இப்போ டெலிவரி சர்வீஸ்க்காக நீங்க ட்ரோன்ஸ் ரெடி பண்ணிட்டீங்க, லான்ச் பேட் ரெடி பண்ணிட்டீங்க, டெக்னீஷியன்ஸ் பண்ணிட்டீங்க, இல்ல மேனுவல் ட்ரோன்ஸ்னா நீங்க யூனிட் பைலட்ஸ், ரைட்? ஆர் இஃப் இட் இஸ் ஜிபிஎஸ் பேஸ்ட் ஆட்டோமேட்டிக் யூஏவின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க, அன்மேன் ஏரியல் வெஹிக்கிள், ரைட்? ஸோ யூஏவி வச்சிருக்கீங்க அப்படின்னா யூ டோன்ட் நீட் எனிபடி, த ட்ரோன் வில் ஆப்ரேட் பை இட் செல்ஃப், எவ்ரிதிங் இஸ் ஆட்டோமேட்டட். அப்படி இருக்கிற பொழுது it becomes a service. Either you have a product, physical product, or you have a service. ரெண்டுத்தையும் வந்து what it takes to sell that thing. நீங்க ஒரு ப்ராடக்ட்டோ இல்ல சர்வீஸ் எப்படி செல் பண்ணுவீங்க? You need a platform, you need a website, you need some promotion, you need some marketing, you need to sell some you need sales people, you need sales plan, right? So this is called this is what is referred as everything it takes to sell that thing. Third, how the customer will pay you. நீங்க ஒரு ப்ராடக்ட் செல் பண்றீங்க இல்ல ஒரு சர்வீஸ் ஆஃபர் பண்றீங்க, இந்த சர்வீஸ்க்கு வந்து எப்படி கஸ்டமர் உங்களுக்கு பே பண்ணுவாங்க? வாட் இஸ் த பேமெண்ட் ஸ்ட்ராட்டஜி? எப்படி வந்து எவ்வளவு, எந்த அளவுக்கு நீங்க ஃப்ரீயா கொடுக்க போறீங்க, எந்த அளவுக்கு நீங்க ட்ரையல்ஸ் கொடுக்க போறீங்க, எந்த அளவுக்கு வந்து சார்ஜ் பண்ண போறீங்க, and whether the charges will be upfront or monthly or weekly or pay in advance, or how is it going to be online, cash on delivery, எப்படி இருக்க போகுது payments. So business model is nothing but everything it takes to sell something, make something, sell something, and how customers are going to pay you for the product or the service. இந்த மூணு விஷயம் தான் வந்து business model, right? If you I want you also to understand one thing, right? This is very important piece of information, brothers and sisters. நிறைய பேர் வந்து கொஞ்சம் பயந்துரும், ஆஹா என்ன பிசினஸ் மாடல்னு சொல்றாங்களே, இது எப்படி வந்து நம்ம ஆக்சுவலா கொண்டு வரது. It looks a little bit scary for some people those who do not have business background. ஆஹா எனக்கு பிசினஸ் எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸே இல்லையே, எந்த பிசினஸ் மாடல் எப்படி வந்து நம்ம கொண்டு வருதுன்னா, you don't have to worry about anything. See, we are living at a point in time where the weirdest business model that you can think of is already existing. உலகத்துல இருக்கக்கூடிய எல்லா பிசினஸஸும் நீங்க கொண்டு வந்து ஒரு கூடையில போட்டுட்டு, if you analyze, they will all fit into some 15 to 25 different types of business model. இப்போ புதுசா வர business model என்னன்னு பாத்தீங்கன்னா, they are a little bit of modified business model of what is already existing. So you're not going to come up with something new. All different types of business model already exist. Some have been already tested, some have been already proved to be efficient. Some of them work for a particular industry, some do not work for a particular industry. You understand? So everything is existing. You're just going to learn about each business model and adapt it. அப்படியே எடுத்து நம்ம அடாப்ட் பண்ணிக்கிறோம். நம்ம ஸ்டார்ட் அப் ஐடியா, நம்ம பிசினஸ் ஐடியாக்கு நம்ம அப்படியே எடுத்து அடாப்ட் பண்ணிக்கிற போறோம். There is nothing new you are going to do. So what are the business models? What are the different types? What are the companies? Which companies have adapted which business model and for what reason? Inshallah, I will explain in the third session, I believe. Inshallah, ரொம்ப டீடைலா போய் எல்லாமே உங்களுக்கு எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்றேன். எப்படி வந்து ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் ஏர் ஏஷியாவுடைய பிசினஸ் மாடல் என்ன, ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் சர்வ் ஹீரோவுடைய பிசினஸ் மாடல் என்ன, கிராப் உடைய பிசினஸ் மாடல் என்ன, ஊபர் என்ன செய்யறாங்க, ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் ஃபுட் பாண்டா எப்படி செய்யறாங்க, இல்ல அமேசான் வெப் சர்வீஸ் எப்படி செய்யறாங்க, ரைட்? ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் கூகுள் கிளவுட் சர்வீஸ் எப்படி ஆஃபர் பண்றாங்க, எல்லா டிஃப்ரெண்ட் பிசினஸ் மாடல்ஸ் ஐ வில் எக்ஸ்பிளைன் அண்ட் இட் வில் பி வெரி இன்ட்ரெஸ்டிங் அண்ட் ஈஸி. இவ்வளவுதானா அப்படின்னு சொல்லி நீங்க எல்லாம் யோசிப்பீங்க. இன்ஷால்லா தட் வில் ஹேப்பன். So in the business model இருக்கு இல்லையா, அந்த மூணு பாயிண்ட்ஸ், everything it takes to make that something and everything that takes to sell that and how customer pay, இந்த மூணு பாயிண்ட வந்து ரொம்ப அழகா இந்த business model canvas அப்படின்ற ஒரு டூல்ல ஃபிட் பண்ணிட்டாங்க. So if you are going to do a startup, you are going to have a business model canvas. இதுதான் இந்த 9 காலம்ஸ் வந்து நீங்க ஃபில் பண்ணிட்டீங்க அப்படின்னா சக்சஸ்ஃபுல்லா, ரொம்ப தெளிவா, ரொம்ப கிளியரா, திஸ் இஸ் இட். அட் த எண்ட் ஆஃப் 10 செஷன்ஸ் யூ வில் ஹேவ் திஸ் ரெடி. இதுதான் உங்களுடைய ப்ளூ பிரிண்ட், உங்களுடைய ஸ்டார்ட் அப் ஐடியாவுடைய ப்ளூ பிரிண்ட். இன்னைக்கு செஷன் we are left with another 55 minutes. In today's session I will focus only on this value proposition, inshallah. இது வரைக்கும் நான் பேசினதுல எல்லாம் விளங்கி இருக்கா? Is everything clear so far, brothers and sisters? You have any question? Is everything clear so far? Do you think we are going fast? Do you think we can maybe make a little bit slow? You want a break? Vivo 1606 என்ன சொல்ல வரீங்க? Okay, I think clear so far, right? Yes, inshallah உங்களுக்கு தேவையான எல்லா ஸ்லைட்ஸும் சரி, இந்த பிசினஸ் மாடல் கேன்வஸும் சரி, நான் டீச் பண்ற எல்லாமே வந்து இன்ஷால்லா I will give it to you in the group. You will have access to everything and anything that I teach, and I whatever I feel will be useful for you in your startup idea, it will be given to you. So don't worry about it, inshallah, right? Okay, wow. So wonderful. Let's move on, brothers and sisters. So what is value proposition, right? இது செய்யறதுக்கு முன்னாடி I want to answer this one question, right? isn't startup market saturated அப்படின்னு சொல்லி நிறைய பேர் கேட்கலாம். The answer to that is 100 million businesses are launched annually. Some succeed, some fail, but great ideas change the world. This is a very, very amazing statement I found from 100tb.com, right? இப்போ வேல்யூ ப்ராposition வந்து நம்ம அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் பண்றதுக்கு முன்னாடி I want to give you a very simple example. இந்த எக்ஸாம்பிள் நம்ம டிஸ்கஸ் பண்ணோம்னா இந்த கேஸ் ஸ்டடின்னு சொல்லுவோம் இல்லையா, இந்த கேசஸ் 2 கேஸ் இருக்கு நம்மள்ட்ட, கிராப் அண்ட் ஊபர் 2 கேசஸ் இருக்கு. இந்த கேஸ் ஸ்டடி நம்ம டிஸ்கஸ் பண்ணுவோம், நம்ம ஓப்பனா பேசுவோமே. கொஞ்சம் பேசணும்னா we will, before I explain what is value proposition, you will already understand what is it. சரிங்களா? So how many of you took Uber before Grab became popular? எல்லாருக்கும் ஞாபகம் இருக்கும்னு நினைக்கிறேன். ஊபர்னு சொல்லி ஒன்னு இருந்தது. யாருக்கெல்லாம் ஞாபகம் இருக்கு? In Malaysia we experienced something called Uber. How many of you rode? Yes, brother Mahfouz used Uber. Rizwan, Yusuf, எல்லாரும் யூஸ் பண்ணிருக்கீங்க. Okay, if you're not going to speak to me, please mute your mic.
பாட்டெல்லாம் கேக்குது.
Please mute your mics, brothers. யாரெல்லாம் வந்து பேசலையோ,
யார் பாட்டு விளையாண்டுட்டு இருக்கறா? இந்த இதுல வந்து பாட்டு கேட்டுட்டு இருக்குது.
யார் பாட்டு கேக்குறாங்க? ஜமான் பாய் கொஞ்சம் பாருங்களேன்.
Okay, mute பண்ணியாச்சு.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, jazakallah khair. Okay, so many people said they used Uber, and some people say they never used Uber, right? Oh, mashallah, brother Saleh Ghani vandu I'm user and driver for both Uber and Grab. Fantastic, brother. Amazing. Very good. So Uber vandu, for those who do not know what Uber is a giant. It's a unicorn. Before Grab came to Malaysia, Uber was a unicorn already. உலகத்துல பல நாடுகள்ல வந்து Uber was already had its footprint, and it was successful, greatly successful. பல இடத்துல போய் disruption பண்ணிட்டாங்க. Uber போய் disruptionனா என்ன? market disruptionனா industry would be functioning in a particular way. ஒரு விதத்துல போயிட்டு இருக்கோம். மலேசியால எப்படி இருந்தது? நான் முதல்ல I came to Malaysia in 2009 as a student. When I came, whenever I wanted to take a taxi, right, it was easy for me as long as I was studying at UIA, University Islam Mantra Bangsa, right, IIUM. And then for my PhD doctorate studies, I went to Nottingham University. I think most of you know Nottingham is in Kajang. It's near Kajang, Seminye. Seminye vandu, if you want to commute, right, I didn't have a car at the time. I used to take taxis from the Kajang KTM station until my university. The only option available was taxi, and the drivers would only haggle. அவங்கள்ட்ட வந்து நீங்க மீட்டர் போடுங்கன்னு சொல்லி பேச முடியாது. Nobody would use meter. They will only haggle, minimum 30 ringgits, and during off peak hours, night நேரத்துல அதெல்லாம் வந்து 50 ringgits, sometimes even more. Can you imagine the kind of frustration I will have? I would be absolutely disgusted. என்னடா இது இப்படி அநியாயம் பண்றாங்களே. இங்கந்து it's hardly like 12 kilometers or something. Normally if they use meter, the charges will not even be 15 ringgit. So they will charge double, and sometimes more than double in certain cases, right? The issue also was, if you're using Uber, you used to have internet payment service at the time, right, when it initially came. So sorry, and the taxi mari da irundha system. And then suddenly came Uber. Enna aachu Uber vandadoda I became so happy, right? No more haggling with the drivers. You know what is the amount of money you are going to pay, and then Uber tells you what's the distance, how long it will take. Sila samayam vandu taxi vandu inga phone la koopiduveenga, கூப்டா நான் இங்க தான் இருக்கேன், இங்க வரேன், 5 நிமிஷத்துல வரேன் அப்படின்னு சொன்னா 1/2 மணி நேரம் பண்ணிடுவாங்க. Some taxi drivers, I'm sure most of you who used to use who used to take taxis, you know what I mean, right? They will lie, they will cheat, they will they will do all those kind of things. So the point is, brothers and sisters, for a person like me who had a situation where commuting between the train station until my final destination, for that I had to pay a lot of money. I had access to taxis வந்து ஈஸியா கிடைச்சிரும், ஆனா பேமெண்ட் பாத்தீங்கன்னா ரொம்ப அநியாயமா சார்ஜ் பண்ணுவாங்க. So when Uber came, I became absolutely happy. பயங்கர happy எனக்கு ரொம்ப I became very very happy because I wouldn't have to pay double and triple for the same distance I travel. And also at my comfort zone, I can, order a taxi. Taxi will come to my doorsteps. இந்த மாதிரி நிறைய வந்து எனக்கு I started feeling, the service provided by Uber is so valuable to me. Is it clear? How many of you felt the same? எனக்கும் வந்து இந்த மாதிரி ஃபீலிங் ஆச்சு, நீங்க சொல்றது கரெக்ட் அப்படின்னு சொல்லக்கூடியவங்க எல்லாம் யாரு அப்படின்னு சொல்லுங்க பாப்போம். How many of you experience the same thing? Right? Okay, wonderful. இவ்வளவு பெரிய giant யாரு? Uber is a big giant. I told you it had its footprint around the world. Then something amazing happened. Grab from nowhere came and revolutionized the market in such a way that they literally crushed a market giant which has footprint around the world. அது எப்படி நடந்தது அப்படின்னு சொன்னா, this is again a motivation for all of you. If you're a person who's pessimistic about going for a startup, here is a message for you. Very, very important message. That is, even a company which is already the size of Uber, which is a unicorn on its own, which had huge financial strength, their funding was in billions. Uber, right? All of the company வந்து ஒண்ணுமே இல்லாம ஆக்கிட்டாங்க Grab. How was that possible? Because Grab came with a better value for the customers. என்ன வந்து டிஃபரன்ஸ் இருந்தது ஊபருக்கும் கிராபுக்கும் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி யார் சொல்ல முடியும் இங்க? If you want to speak, you can speak. If you want to type, you can type. Grab, Uber வந்து ரொம்ப பெரிய பலசாலி, பெரிய கம்பெனி, வேர்ல்ட் வைட் பிரசன்ஸ் எல்லாமே இருந்தது. ஆனா Grab வந்ததோட they did something as a result of which they managed to crush Uber. Who can say the reason?
Saya just like to share my experience lah as a user and driver.
Yes, brother. Can you tell me who are you? What's your name? I can't see you. Who's that?
Okay, I'm Saleh Ghani from Penang.
Okay. Go ahead, brother.
Okay, brother. Okay, when Grab came, so Uber was already leading the race lah.
Yes.
So the problem with Uber was not very focused on security and giving value to customer. While Grab as a competitor, they were just focusing on getting more and more customers. So what they did was they were giving a lot of promotion and vouchers, and then most of the time, your trip to one place is they reduce up to zero lah. So meaning they have the funder, and then the funder is paying for the customers. So when the customers are trying to spread the word, saying that okay, Grab is cheaper, Grab is a lot of voucher and everything, so slowly Uber customer drops, and then Uber decided they cannot compete with the very low fares, and then they decided okay, this is the fare that they want to go on, and then they stop the minimum fare lah. So Grab won the race.
Fantastic summary, brother. Fantastic summary. Jazakallah khair. Really appreciate what you just summarized, right? See, there are so many things that happened over a period of time, right? Grab came up with amazing value for the customers. But there are 2 or 3 important points which I would like to highlight. Number 1, pathina, Grab tried to understand the local culture. இங்க இருக்கக்கூடிய மக்களுக்கு என்ன தேவை அப்படினு. Uber is a universal company, right? It's a global company. It had its own rigid business model. It had its rigid features and functionalities. என்ன அப்படின்னா Grab யூஎஸ்ல என்ன கான்செப்ட்ல இருந்தாங்களோ அதே கான்செப்ட்ல தான் மலேசியாலயும் இருந்தாங்க, சிங்கப்பூர்ல இருந்தாங்க, இந்தியால இருந்தாங்க. They were not flexible enough according to the local needs. விளங்குதா? It was a universal company with a rigid, system. They were not really accustomed to the local needs. So idla enna puriyudhu appadina, first thing Grab did was they made the payment flexible. Inga vandu cash avum pay pannalam, online liyum pay pannalam, and they made the payment extremely flexible. Ipo Southeast Asia pathina, this is இங்க வந்து மக்கள் வந்து ரொம்ப சில்லற வியாபாரிகள் எல்லாம் நிறைய பண்ணுவாங்க. They are very used to cash. They are not yet, tech intensive society yet like the West. So Grab வந்து முதல் காரியம் பண்ணது வந்து they made the payment very flexible. This is number one. Number two, what Grab did was
Assalamu alaikum.
Grab introduced safety. அந்த ஊபர்ல ஒரு
எனக்கு
இன்சிடென்ட்
சாப்பாடு
நடந்தது.
இங்க எடுத்து கொடுத்துருங்க.
Brother Fayaz, can you mute yourself? Okay, what Grab ஊபர்ல என்ன ஆச்சுன்னா ஒரு இன்சிடென்ட் நடந்தது. ஒரு இடத்துல when a passenger was riding in Uber, the safety was compromised. ஒரு ஆணோ ஒரு பெண்ணோ வந்து they had a serious issue, and as a result of which the woman was molested and safety was compromised. Grabல என்ன பண்ணாங்க, நீங்க வந்து நீங்க வண்டியில ஏறினதோட you can share your location with your beloved ones, your friends, your relatives, and so on, so that people know where exactly you're traveling. The information of driver was shared and everything was done. So this is number two. Number three, like you all mentioned, mashallah, you piled up a lot of other reasons, such as the payments were much cheaper, the fares were much cheaper, the flexibility of using different type of cars was existing, and so on and so forth. These are all additional things that came into being after a period of time. So right now, நீங்க உங்களுக்கு புரியுதா நான் இப்போ என்ன சொல்ல வரேன்னா, what matters to the people is value. What people value is more important than what you think as a founder, as a company owner, as a startup, valuable to your customers. நல்லா விளங்கிக்கிறங்க. Let me repeat it again. Value is something that your customers acknowledge as value. What your customers acknowledge as valuable to them. What customers acknowledge as something that is solving their problem, that is giving a kind of a relief to their pains that they are going through, and the kind of jobs that they are trying to do, you are able to do those jobs for them, and additional perks you offer to your customers as gains. இதுதான் சிம்பிளா சொல்லணும்னா value. You are able to do their jobs which fulfills their needs. You are able to solve their problems, or you're able to relieve their pains. Number three is you are able to give them additional perks. Whatever additional feature functionalities you offer is a gain for them. இந்த மூணு ஆஸ்பெக்ட் நம்ம விளங்கிட்டோம் இன்னைக்கு செஷன்ல. அப்படின்னா today's class is a success for me, right? So to put this into a simplest definition, I would say value proposition is a positioning statement which explains what benefit you provide for who and how do you do it uniquely well. நல்லா இது அண்டர்லைன் பண்ணிக்கிறீங்க. Value proposition is a positioning statement that explains what benefit you provide for which type of customers and how you do it uniquely well, right? It also describes your target buyer, the pain point you solve, and why you are distinctly better than your competitors, right? Design, testing, and the loop it's a very complicated loop. Until you figure out your value proposition, you will go through a very tough time. But once you solve the mystery, once you achieve that particular value proposition, once you figure out the value proposition, I think you're going to have a fantastic sale with an upward trend, right? To achieve this, இப்ப நம்ம value proposition சொல்லி பேசுறோம். அதை எப்படி நம்ம சாத்தியப்படுத்துறது, how can we have it on paper அப்படின்னு சொன்னா, இந்த simple ஒரு canvas, right? It's called customer profile. This is called customer profile, and this is called service value map. இது எப்படி செய்யறது? இப்ப நம்ம சொன்னோம் இல்லையா, value எப்படி நம்ம சாத்தியப்படுத்துறது அப்படின்னா, using the simple one page template you can achieve it. So what are you supposed to do here is, first of all, you need to understand your customer. நிறைய பேர் நினைப்போம், இப்போ நான் கூட ஒரு பாயிண்ட்ல இப்படிதான் நினைச்சிட்டு இருந்தேன், because I'm a scientist myself, alhamdulillah. I have a PhD in chemical and environmental engineering. So I used to really brag as a scientist about my findings, my technology, the technology I developed, right? Until at a point of time, a person by the name Chris Berry, you can Google his name, CHRISBURRY, Chris Berry. He's a serial entrepreneur who made millions, and he's from the Silicon Valley, US. I had a conversation with him because he looked at my startup, right, at that time, maybe 3 years ago or something. He absolutely shattered the understanding I had about a product or a service. He said, You can be a scientist, you can, you know, brag about your technology, you can brag about your product, but unless or until your customer finds value in the product or service, your product means nothing. நல்லா தெரிஞ்சுக்கிறீங்க. இது வந்து நம்ம எல்லாரும் வந்து இது கொஞ்சம் நுணுப்பமா வந்து விளங்கிக்கிறோம். ஏன்னா we come from a particular society, from a particular community whereby we have this kind of you know, this is the attitude of our community. நம்மளுக்கு வந்து சில நேரத்துல கொஞ்சம் அந்த pride எல்லாம் இருக்கும். இது வந்து நான் கொண்டு வந்த ஐடியா, இது வந்து எப்படி வந்து இதை நீங்க கிரிட்டிசைஸ் பண்ணலாம், இது வந்து நோ, இது கண்டிப்பா நடக்கும் ப்ரோ, இது வந்து கண்டிப்பா people will like. No, I don't want you to have this kind of mindset from today onwards. Forget about it. Don't tell your investors, don't tell your customers what they need. Rather, go and figure out what they want. Let me repeat it, brothers and sisters, because this is absolutely important for you to understand, right? நல்லா தெரிஞ்சுக்கிறீங்க. You need to speak to your customers to find out what they want. Not you go and tell them, hey, listen, I have a fantastic product, fantastic service, you accept. No, it doesn't work. It will be an absolute failure. And that's the reason around the world, the failure percentage of startups is more than 95%. Why? Because many startups fail to understand their customer needs. I hope it is clear. இப்போ எப்படி செய்யறது அப்படின்னா, on the profile, customer profile, you speak to customers. இப்போ நீங்க என்ன பண்ணுங்க, இப்போ ஒரு யாராவது ஒரு ஐடியா சொல்லுங்க பாப்போம். What you want to do as a startup? Can somebody type what idea you have to turn it into a startup? Please somebody type it out here. நீங்க என்ன ஸ்டார்ட்அப் செய்யலாம்னு சொல்லி விருப்பப்படுறீங்களோ அந்த ஐடியா சும்மா ஒரு 2 லைன், ஒரு லைன் இல்ல 1 வேர்ட்ல கூட டைப் பண்ணலாம். Just type it out. What idea you have to embark upon as a startup? Brothers and sisters, please type it out. Come on. Okay, somebody says car service. Okay, very good. Okay, very good. Car service ne veppome. Zaman, brother Zaman solraru, he wants to do car service. If I, as a customer, right, if I want to do car service, what do I do? 5,000 kilometers illa 10,000 kilometers mudinjadoda, I go to a workshop looking for a, you know, car workshop, and whereby I go and change the engine oil, you know, do all the basic testing and so on, and eventually I take my car out. It's a car service. So as a customer, what do I do is I do certain jobs when it comes to car service. What are those jobs? I have to drive all the way to the commercial streets. உங்க வீட்டுக்கு பக்கத்துலயோ, உங்க work area பக்கத்துலயோ, you will go around the streets, you look for car service workshops, right? You will see, okay, in the workshop நல்லா இருக்கா, எந்த brand வச்சிருக்காங்க, எந்த இது. So you basically you drive your car all the way looking. You have to search. You're searching, right, for different workshop options available in your area, right? Isn't it? So this is one. Number two, you also have to make a choice. You go inside the workshop, you have to, you know, negotiate with the mechanic or the technician. Yenda oil irukku, neenga edha poda poringa, edha sey poringa, you have to negotiate, you have to do all those things. So there can be many jobs that a typical customer does in a particular, while buying a product or while buying a service. இது எல்லாமே வந்து நீங்க ரைட் சைடுல லிஸ்ட் டவுன் பண்ணுங்க. What are the questions you should be asking while listing down is something I'm going to explain in a very, very great detail, inshallah, in the next 2-3 minutes. So this is about jobs. Number two, what is the pain? இப்போ நான் வந்து ஒரு கார் ஒர்க் ஷாப் போறேன், சர்வீஸ், இன்ஜின் ஆயில் சர்வீஸ் பண்றதுக்கு. What is the painful thing for me? உங்களுக்கு வந்து as a customer, right, நிறைய பேர் காடி ஓட்டுவீங்க, நிறைய பேர் கார் ஓட்டுவீங்க, right? So can you tell me what is the problem you experience? Maybe brother Zaman, you can also mention, because this is your idea. For car service ku pogumbodhu, what's such a painful thing you experience as a customer? For me, I get easily cheated. The car service guy says the engine oil is the best one, and sometimes, you know, his margin is 100%, 200% வந்து margin வெச்சு நம்ம வண்டியை வந்து சர்வீஸ் பண்ணுவாங்க. For me, the painful thing is the cost. I don't know, you know, if the cost of the service I'm paying is correct or not. Maybe you experience a different, somebody says waiting time, and if the product is genuine or not. Fantastic, very good. So this is a pain for me, right? I don't know if the product is genuine. Waiting time is huge. right? And thirdly, like I said, the cost. You don't know whether you're paying the right amount. Maybe the workshop is fooling you, cheating you. So these are the pains. As a customer, உங்க customers வந்து என்ன வந்து பெயினா எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் பண்றாங்க அப்படின்றத நீங்க நீங்க கேட்டுக்கணும். இப்போ ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் நானே சொன்னேன், as a customer, I myself, for me the most painful thing is the cost. If say for example நான் இந்த ஸ்டார்ட் அப் பண்றேன்னு வைங்களேன், if I am doing that startup, my thinking will be limited to what I think the pain is for me. But when I asked you, see how many answers came. Somebody said waiting time, somebody said, you know, product is genuine or not, you know, somebody said I don't have a service book history, you know, pickup and delivery, prices of spare parts. See how many points came out. A lot of points came out when I asked real customers. If I have to think myself, what are the pains for customer, my thinking will be limited, and sometimes my thinking could be even wrong. Because for you, you need to determine what is the pain for customer by speaking to them and by listing down. இப்போ 100 பேர்கிட்ட பேசுனீங்க, 100 பேர்ல வந்து say 90 people say that, you know, the genuine, if the part is genuine or not is the biggest concern, then that pain is number one as per the consensus of all the customer feedback you got, not something I thought initially, which is the cost, which is the you know, amount of money I'm paying. You understand the difference? Why you should talk to your customers? This is ரொம்ப important, brothers and sisters. If you're going to do a startup, you have to work on an idea. என்ன செய்ய போறோம்ன்றது நீங்க வந்து கொஞ்சம் தெளிவான பிறகு, right, you have to go speak to the customers first. You really have to speak. How to speak, what type of questions you should ask, எல்லாம் வந்து நம்ம அப்புறமா டிஸ்கஸ் பண்ணுவோம். But I want you to get this point absolutely clear. First is it's all about value. Secondly, once you want to determine the value, you have to speak to your customers. Third is the gain. இப்போ வந்து sorry brothers, can you please mute yourself? Okay, third is the gains. Jobs என்னென்னலாம் செய்றாங்கன்னு சொல்லி தெளிவாயிருச்சு, பெயின் உங்களுக்கு என்னென்னலாம் தெளிவாயிருச்சு. And then the gain is, say for example, they give you warranty, it's a gain. Or they say we give you 5% discount, it's a gain. Or they you know, in the while you are waiting, they put you in an air conditioned room. Or say for example, they say you know, if you come next time, you know, we will give you additional 10% discount. So these are all gains. ஒரு கஸ்டமருக்கு அவங்களுடைய ப்ரொஃபைல் நீங்க எப்படி எல்லாம் உருவாக்கலாம் அப்படின்னு சொன்னா, by finding out what are the jobs that they are going to do while buying a particular product or a service, what are the pains that they experience while buying the product or a service, as well as what would be gains for them. அப்படின்றத நீங்க நல்லா விளங்கிட்டீங்க அப்படின்னு சொன்னா, your customer profile, which is a part of value proposition canvas, is ready. Once you are clear with your customer profile, you can come up with products and services that will meet their job expectations. Pains, என்னென்ன பெயின் எல்லாம் இப்ப சொன்னீங்க, சில பேர் சொன்னீங்க வெயிட்டிங் பீரியட், சில பேர் சொன்னீங்க ஜெனுவின் பார்ட்ஸா இல்லையா, சில பேர் சொன்னீங்க, you know, service history. So all those pain வந்து நீங்க கிளியரா விளங்கிட்டீங்க அப்படின்னு சொன்னா, you can provide them pain relievers. And finally gains, additional perks, என்னென்னலாம் added services நீங்க உங்களால கொடுக்க முடியுமோ அது எல்லாமே gains. So once you have a clear fit of customer profile and service value map, then your startup is destined to success, inshallah. Is it clear so far? ஏதாவது கேள்விகள் இருக்கா? You have any questions? I think we are left with only 30 minutes. So I want to give you some tips, some solutions, how to practically இதெல்லாம் எப்படி செய்யறதுன்றதை நான் இப்ப சொல்ல போறேன். Okay, brother Syed Ibrahim says it's clear so far. Anybody has any problem, any issues, any questions?
Hey, doctor, I have a question.
Yes, brother, go ahead.
Because we now identify the job, and then I mean, what work we are trying to get done, and then we identify the pain, the problem statement. You know, we talk to the customer and understand the pains. The gains is a part of the solving the pains, or it's an additional value.
Okay. நம்ம ரொம்ப ஈஸியா இத தெளிவா விளங்கிக்கறணும் அப்படின்னு சொன்னா, the distinction between jobs, pains and gains, I want you to go through with me the following you know, points. right? I don't want to run through this because I've already explained these points. However, when I give you the slides, you can go through them, inshallah. But to clearly understand, right, in the 10 characteristics, to clearly understand what is the pain and what is the gain, I want you to take down these questions. In the question, because I'm going to share all of this. For example, customer pain. How do your customers define too costly, takes a lot of time, costs too much money, or requires substantial efforts? இதெல்லாம் questions நீங்க கேட்கணும். சரியா? Second, what makes your customer feel bad? What are their frustrations, annoyance, or things that give them a headache? அடுத்த question, how are current value propositions underperforming for your customers? அதாவது இப்போ நீங்க சொன்னீங்க brother Zaman that you want to do a car service app. இப்போ இருக்கிற ஸ்டார்ட்அப்ஸ் அவங்க செய்யறதுல என்ன பிரச்சனை இருக்கு? இப்போ நம்ம கிராப் அண்ட் ஊபர் பார்த்தோம் இல்லையா, என்னென்னலாம் இஷ்யூஸ் கிராப் ஊபர்ல இருக்குது, அது ஐடென்டிஃபை பண்ண பிறகு Grab came up with solutions for all those issues. Exactly, you also have to do. You have to study the value proposition of existing players in the market. இப்போ இருக்கிற ஸ்டார்ட்அப்ஸ், இருக்கிற கம்பெனிஸ் எல்லாம் என்னென்ன சர்வீஸ் பண்றாங்க, அவங்க ஆஃபர் பண்ற சர்வீஸ்ல, அவங்க ஆஃபர் பண்ற ப்ராடக்ட்ல என்னென்னலாம் டிஃபிஷியன்சிஸ் இருக்குதுன்றத you have to figure out. So how would you figure out? By asking yourself, which features are they missing? Are there performance issues that annoy them or malfunctions they cite? Another question, what are the main difficulties and challenges your customers encounter? Do they understand how things work, or do they have any difficulties in getting certain things done, or resist particular job or specific reason? அதே போல, what negative social consequences your customers encounter or fear? What are they afraid of loss of face, power, trust, status? Right? அதே போல, I'm going to list down a lot of questions here, right? For each of the pain, jobs, and gains. Jobs, pain, and gain வந்து நல்லா விளங்கிக்கறணும் அப்படின்னு சொன்னா, I have this list of questions. I don't have time to go through all of them. I'm going to leave the slides with you. இப்போ brother Zaman கேட்டதுனால we are going to touch upon the gains. இப்போ pains எப்படி identify பண்றதுன்னு சொல்லி, I hope these questions will help you. Now take a look at the gains. What is the gain? Which saving would make your customers happy? Look at the keywords, brothers. Which savings would make your customers happy? Which savings in terms of time, money, and effort would they value? What quality levels do they expect? ரெண்டு விஷயம் இருக்கு இதுல புரிஞ்சுக்கணும் நீங்க. There is something called need. தேவை is called need in English, right? What is the need of my customer? This is one. அவங்க நீட நீங்க fulfill பண்ணிட்டீங்கன்னா that solves their problem. அவங்களுடைய தேவையை நீங்க நிவர்த்தி பண்ணிட்டீங்கன்னா it is actually enough for them. But on top of it, அவங்களுடைய நீடுக்கு மேல எக்ஸ்ட்ரா நீங்க என்னென்னலாம் கொடுக்க முடியுமோ அதெல்லாமே gains தான். For example, you meet a bare minimum quality that your customer expects. On top of the bare minimum quality of the product or the service, anything additional you give, right, is gain. எனக்கு தேவையானது எனக்கு உங்க ஸ்டார்ட்அப்ல இருந்து எனக்கு கிடைச்சிருது. On top of it, எனக்கு டிஸ்கவுண்ட் கிடைக்குது, எனக்கு டைம் சேவ் ஆகுது, எனக்கு பல அடிஷனல் பெனிஃபிட்ஸ் இருக்கு அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவோம், அடிஷனல் பெனிஃபிட்ஸ். அதுதான் நம்ம கெயின்னு சொல்றோம். To help guide you determine the gains for your customers, I suggest you to go and read each of this question and answer. Right? Is that clear, brothers and sisters? I have a lot of questions. I don't have time to go through them, so I'll just skip it. So I want you to go through all these questions for each three element: jobs, pains, and gains, and then come up with your own value proposition profile like this. இந்த மாதிரி நீங்க என்ன செய்யணும்னா அப்படின்னா, உங்களுடைய வேல்யூ ப்ராposition மேப் நீங்க செய்யணும். Jobs, pains, and gains முதல்ல understand பண்ணிக்கிட்டு based on these questions, right? Then you come up, you fill your service map. உங்க startup மூலமா how are you going to solve the customer issues, customer pains, jobs, gains எல்லாம் நீங்க எப்படி செய்ய போறீங்கன்றத இந்த இடத்துல நீங்க fill up பண்ணணும். You don't need to write paragraphs after paragraphs. அப்படிலாம் செய்ய தேவையில்லை. You just need few lines, and even some words is enough to fill up your customer value proposition canvas. Okay, Now, before we go and take more questions, right, from you, I want to interact with you for a while and get some feedback and also answer your questions. Before that, I'm going to take you to another small quiz. How many of you know this guy? Who is this guy? Have you ever seen him before? யாருக்கு வந்து இவருடைய பேர் தெரியும்? Who knows him? Who knows him? Okay, if you don't know, you can say you don't know. Okay.
Oh, no.
Okay, so he is a very, very young billionaire. Okay, his name is John Collins. His age is just 29. I don't know how many of you are below 29 here right now. I believe most of the participants are above 29. So this must be an inspiration for us. He is the co-founder of Stripe. Stripe, it's a payment, platform, right? It builds software helping business to facilitate online credit payments. Right? Credit card payments எல்லாம் இருக்கு இல்லையா, அதை வந்து ஃபெசிலிட்டேட் பண்றதுக்காக ஆரம்பிக்கப்பட்ட ஒரு சின்ன ஒரு கம்பெனி தான் ஸ்ட்ரைப். இது எப்போ ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணாங்க தெரியுமா? He launched the company with his brother, right, Patrick, when they were both college students. இப்போ நீங்க நினைக்கிறீங்க I am very young to do a startup, or I do not have experience to do a startup. This guy must be an inspiration for all of us, right? Your company value, I think, is more than 35 billion now, because I took this information data from Investopedia quite some time ago. I don't know what is his worth. Can you imagine his net worth now? This guy is worth several billions. He's just maybe 30 plus now, or maybe 30 years now, right? Who is this guy? How many of you know him? How many of you know this guy that you see on the screen right now? Okay, your pair வந்து, he's an Indian. His name is Ritesh Agarwal. Your age வந்து 26, right? He is the founder of Oyo hotels. அப்படின்னு நீங்க நிறைய இடத்துல போகும்போது பார்த்திருப்பீங்க. ஸ்ட்ரீட்ஸ்ல எல்லாம் வந்து நிறைய ஹோட்டல்ஸ் வந்து இருக்கும், right? Right now his company is going through a difficult situation, like many other, hospitality sector. Hospitality sector worldwide வந்து பெரிய எஃபெக்ட் கோவிட் வந்தது பிறகு, right? இவர் வந்து காலேஜ் drop out at the age of 17. And he became millionaire when he was 22 years old. Year 2020 la, right at the beginning of year 2020, Oyo was operating 40,000 plus hotels, right, with over 1 million rooms in 800 plus cities in 80 countries. இவருடைய net worth வந்து இவருடைய net worth மட்டுமே வந்து over 1 billion, right, according to a survey company in 2020. And in the year 2020 beginning la, OU was valued at 10 billion, right, by Forbes and TechCrunch and others. So can you imagine, at the age of 22, Stripe founder avudhu 26 la வந்து ஒரு ஆரம்பிச்சாரு. இவர் வந்து at the age of 20 itself he had started OU. So if you think you are too late, you are too older to start to do a startup, or you're too ill-experienced, inexperienced to do a startup, these people must be an inspiration. இவர் யாருன்னு தெரியுதா? இவர் பேர் வந்து முதஸ்ஸிர் ஷேகா. The amazing thing I like about him is, இப்போ நிறைய பேர் நினைக்கலாம் என்கிட்ட வந்து நான் தனியாலாம் என்ன செய்ய போறேன். So if you think as an individual you cannot really achieve much, or you're really not confident, there is nothing wrong about it. As a human, we all have this tendency, right? தனியால என்னால செய்ய முடியாது bro, I need few people with me. Then you look for those like-minded people. Maybe இப்போ நாம இந்த சீரீஸ்லயே நிறைய பேர் வந்து may not be able to do everything by themselves. If you don't have ideas, try to patch up, try to link with other people in this series, or from your friends, from your relatives. நீங்க வந்து team form பண்ணுங்க. So what this guy Mudassir Shekhar did was, say for example, நீங்க ஒரு company start பண்ணும்போது you need people to work, right, as your co-founder, or as your chief technologist, or as your account, as your finance officer. You need people with different backgrounds to support you. Initially you may not have enough money to pay them salaries. So what you can do is, சரி நீங்க என் கம்பெனில ஜாயின் பண்ணிக்கிறீங்க, we will become co-founders, or you take up a senior position in the company, but I will not pay you, but I will give you stakes in the company. I will give you 2%, I'll give you 5%, I'll give you 10%, whatever percentage stake in your company you can give. You can give to the people, and you can encourage them, entice them to work for your goal. You understand? So this guy paid 200 employees with stakes in the company. These are the people who joined the company in the very, very early stage. அவங்களுக்கெல்லாம் salary pay பண்ணாம இவர் வந்து stakes கொடுத்தாரு. And as a result, in the year 2019, when Uber, Uber is a giant, right? Uber took over Careem. Careem is basically an e-hailing app similar to Grab. Middle East la போனீங்கன்னா Careem is very popular. Careem வந்து என்ன பண்ணுச்சுன்னா Uber வந்து bought over Careem in 2019 for 3 billion. As a result of which 200 employees became millionaires. Can you imagine, brothers and sisters? Imagine இப்போ நம்மல்ல இப்போ 53 பேர் இப்போ அட்டெண்ட் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்காங்க. There were 55 people earlier. So 53 people ஒரு 2 பேர் வந்து you became billionaires. Say Amin. Right? And as a result, all of us get absorbed by few of you. And imagine all of us become millionaires after 2 or 3 or 5 years. Right? I mean, we can be optimistic about this, right? Inshallah. So imagine the kind of impact we can have on the community, in Malaysia and the world at large. So this is what we need to vision, right? So having said this, I also want to tell you one thing. Neriya per vandu nenipinga, I don't have enough information to make a decision, brother. How on earth do you expect me to come up with a startup? If you are a person who thinks like that, I want you to put yourself in the shoes of Sundar Pichai. You know Sundar Pichai, right? The CEO of Google right now. Or I want you to put yourself in the shoes of the Prime Minister right now. Or the president of any country for that matter. How do you think these people are able to make huge decisions? Do you think they know each and everything about what's happening under their feet? They don't know. At the maximum, right, each CEO have only 10% of the data they need when they make a decision. Only 10%. அதை வச்சுட்டு தான் அந்த மாதிரி பெரிய பெரிய decisions வந்து all the people on top in leadership position, they are able to make decisions. So please do not create a roadblock for your own self because of your limited thinking. Open up, inshallah, right? And at the same time, I want you to focus on value creation. How can you create value is something I'm going to explain in the future session, but I want you to go and read a little bit about 17 sustainable development goals, because each aspect of human life, may it be poverty or hunger, health, well-being, education, has certain problems that are agreed by the whole world. If you come up with a solution targeting each of these issues, that by itself is a huge potential idea for you, inshallah. Right? With that, I will leave you with one inspiration, one simple idea that can perhaps revolutionize, right? இப்போ பாருங்க, நம்ம எல்லாரும் என்ன பண்றோம்னா paste use பண்றோம், brush use பண்றோம் வெடிகாலையில. I am sure most of you brushed your teeth. I hope, yes. Who didn't brush your teeth? Maybe you can type it out in the chat box. Okay, don't embarrass yourself. So the point is, each day, billions and billions of people around the world are using brush. And if you see, the material with which the bristles of a brush is made is mostly, plastic or some kind of polyester or polyethylene or something like that, right? Some kind of non-biodegradable material. இதனால என்ன பிரச்சனை? பிரஷ் தானே பண்றோம், இது என்ன இவ்வளோ சின்ன ஒரு ஐட்டம் தானே, ப்ராடக்ட் தானே, அதனால என்ன ஆக போகுது அப்படின்னா, as a result of the plastic waste contamination, the landfills are getting really, really filthier day by day, right? And the ocean life, the life below the earth, right? Life on land and life below the water is affected like crazy. You can go and read about the impact of plastic, microplastic on the world. You can Google and find out. So the solution can be sometimes very, very simple. The whole world, perhaps much of the world, do not even know that, from the sunnah of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which is using miswak, it is a solution for a problem which is affecting billions of people around the world, which is affecting the life on land, life below the water. And you using a simple technology or using some kind of unique business model, if you can convince people that by using a simple siwak, you can save life below water and life on land, and and at the same time impact billions of people around the world and come up with a sustainable solution. Imagine the kind of impact you can have on the world. Imagine the kind of value you will be creating for the whole world. Now you don't even know the paste நம்ம யூஸ் பண்ற பேஸ்ட் வந்து எந்த மாதிரி சைடு எஃபெக்ட்ஸ் கொடுக்கும், என்னென்னலாம் நடக்கும் அப்படின்றது நமக்கு தெரியல. This is just a tree. Maybe you can plant a tree in your backyard, in your garden, arak tree. This plant is called arak. Indiaல எல்லாம் வந்து நம்ம அந்த காலத்துல neem யூஸ் பண்ணுவோம், neem tree. And maybe in other parts of the world they have different trees. Maybe you can come up with a startup idea which helps people plant this kind of trees and cut every single day and use it, right? Can you imagine the kind of impact? So the ideas are plenty, brothers and sisters. நீங்க வந்து சும்மா நடக்கும்போது, ஒரு மார்க்கெட்டுக்கு போகும்போது, ஒரு go to your office, going to your workplace, just look what problems you encounter in a day-to-day life, and that problem itself can become a potential business opportunity for you. So with those words, I would like to conclude today's session by pointing out these references. You can go through them, inshallah, when I share with you. Inshallah, in the next class, we will learn about lean startup methodology. கம்மியான பணத்துல 10,000 வச்சுட்டு நான் எப்படி 10 மில்லியன் சம்பாதிக்கிறது, how to make it possible, rather inshallah next sessionல நம்ம பார்க்க போறோம். Lean startup methodology is the most powerful tool used by all the major corporations around the world. Inshallah, in the next week we will go through this, inshallah. Because of the time constraint, what I will do is I will release the video in the platform. இப்போ நீங்க self-help for youth website போனீங்கன்னா you will be given access to it. Inshallah, I will put up in the group on how you can have access on all those things, and you can watch the lecture in advance and come to the session so that we can interact. உங்களுக்கு ஒரு homework தர போறேன். Maybe most of you are not used to it anymore because you must have been out of the schools and universities long back. Next week நீங்க வரும்பொழுது I want all of you to fill up value proposition canvas using the templates which I am going to share in the group, inshallah. எல்லாருமே வந்து உங்களுடைய business ஐடியாவை, customer profile என்ன, உங்களுடைய service value map என்னன்றதை நீங்க எல்லாருமே create பண்ணணும் with the help of these questions. I will share all of them, all the slides, inshallah, in the group. Now I open to any criticism, any comments, any feedback, any questions. Over to you, brother Zaman. Jazakallah khair. Sorry for taking too much time, brothers and sisters.
Alhamdulillah, it's a very good session, doctor. I think I would say it's a very good start. Now I think the participants, maybe you can ask questions because we need to be more interactive. Don't worry whether the question is stupid or anything, we just ask the questions to doctor so that he work more harder for us to deliver the presentations.
Okay, anybody has any question? By the way, if you have any feedback, you can share that. உங்களுக்கு வந்து இந்த செஷன் பிடிச்சிருந்தது அப்படின்னா speak a few words about the session. How did you like it? What did you like about the delivery style? Did you like the examples that I used? Was it clear enough? உங்களுக்கு வந்து என்ன செஞ்சா இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் நல்லா இருக்கும்னு நினைக்கிறீங்க? Right? Please, inshallah, share, brother. Feedback is very, very important, right? I need to know how you people are benefiting right now. It's very important for me, right? To be able to improve. And maybe in the next session, we can make it more interactive and so on. ஏதாவது கேள்வி இருந்தா கேளுங்க. உங்களுக்கு கேள்வி இல்லைன்னா நான் உங்களுக்கு கேள்வி கேட்க போறேன் because I know who are the participants here. So I'm going to ask questions if you don't ask me question. Brother Zaman, சரிதானே? அப்படி பண்ணலாம்ல?
ஆமாமா.
கேள்வி கேட்காட்டா நம்ம கேள்வி கேட்டலாம். யாரும் ஓடி போகாதீங்க.
ஸ்பெசிஃபிக்கா கேளுங்க, அப்பதான் வந்து ப்ரிப்பேர் ஆகும்.
Okay, there are some feedback here. I don't use toothbrush. My family members using miswak. Fantastic, brother Tamim. I'm on a hybrid model. I sometimes use brush. Sometimes when I'm lazy, I don't use siwak. But I do have siwak in the house. Let's all encourage each other. Inshallah, it has more benefits to the world, the environment, as well as for our own health. Tamim Faisal says, ending the session with more expectations. Yes, brother, we cannot. I do not expect my brothers and sisters attending this series to simply attend and go without any benefits. Every single one of you have the potential to come up with a startup. அதுதான் வந்து நம்மளுடைய குறிக்கோள், நம்மளுடைய கோல் வந்து அதுதான். அதனால எல்லாருமே வந்து உங்களால முடிஞ்ச அளவுக்கு செய்யுங்க. செஞ்சுட்டு then inshallah, if you have some issues, I'm there to help you and assist you, right? So adnala don't shy. Whatever you can do, you do it and bring it over to me, and inshallah I'll be more than happy to help you shape your startup ideas, inshallah. Any trigger point to be more successful? Tamim வந்து கேக்குறாரு, any trigger point to be more successful? Yes, there is more brother insights that I will be giving you to understand whether the value proposition you have come up with, is it good enough or not அப்படின்றத வந்து நெக்ஸ்ட் கிளாஸ்ல நான் ஃபீட்பேக் தரேன். நிறைய பேர் நீங்க செஞ்சு கொண்டு வருவீங்க இல்லையா, அப்போ வந்து நான் ஃபீட்பேக் கொடுப்பேன். அப்பவே வந்து உங்களுக்கு நிறைய விளங்கிரும். I was supposed to give you many examples today, but because of time I couldn't bring those examples, because I wanted to inspire you, motivate you first before you can start your entrepreneurship journey. அதனால பாதி டைம் வந்து நான் உங்களுக்கு பேக்ரவுண்ட் கொடுக்கறதுல கொஞ்சம் மோட்டிவேட் பண்றதுலயே போயிடுச்சு. So next week inshallah we'll make it more interactive. Brother Tamim, I hope that helps. Brother Rizwan Khan says very good start. In fact, change toothbrush, it's opportunity to start. Yes brother, if you want to do that startup, go ahead. Anas Ghafoor says, as digitization is our approach, we don't have coding background. Do you or our team have support on this? Fantastic question. Very, very important question. எல்லாரும் வந்து இந்த கொஸ்டினை கொஞ்சம் pay attention பண்ணுங்க. Brother Anas Ghafoor asked this very important question. எல்லாரும் வந்து கொஞ்சம் நல்லா விளங்கிக்கிறங்க brothers and sisters. See, the idea behind startup must integrate technology. நான் மறுபடியும் சொல்றேன், நீங்க ஒரு ஸ்டார்ட் அப் செய்ய போறீங்க, ஒரு பிசினஸ் செய்ய போறீங்க அப்படின்னா, இப்போ இருக்கிற காலகட்டத்துல, say for example you want to reach out, you made a fantastic product and you want to sell it. How can you sell if you put up a shop? ஒரு ஷாப் போட்டீங்கன்னா உங்க ஷாப் ஸ்ட்ரீட்ல யாரெல்லாம் நடந்து போறாங்களோ அவங்க மட்டும் தான் வந்து உங்களை பார்க்க முடியும். You understand? They can only visit your shop, come make a physical purchase. And say for example you do marketing, very good marketing, பெரிய flex எல்லாம் மாட்றீங்க, பெரிய banners எல்லாம் வந்து போடுறீங்க அப்படின்னு சொன்னா, people who look at your advertisement, maybe they will come to your shop and buy. But right now, once you digitize your business, meaning உங்க ஷாப்பை வந்து ஒரு வெப்சைட்ல கொண்டு போயிட்டீங்க, அந்த இடத்துல நீங்க பேமெண்ட் ஆப்ஷன் கொடுத்துட்டீங்க, மக்கள் can search from any part of the world and they can make a purchase. This is the advantage of having tech-based business. You can have an application, you can have a website. How to do that is something we will see inshallah in the future. What kind of digitization support we can give is something we will discuss in the future, but definitely we have something coming your way, brother Anas Ghafoor. We will discuss about that inshallah in the forthcoming sessions. We will help you inshallah. If we cannot even help you with the resources, we will at least guide you so that you can come up with some platform, some application, some website with which you can do your business inshallah. We will definitely guide it. So நீங்க இப்போ homework பண்ணுவீங்க இல்லையா, வீட்ல போய் எல்லாம் உங்க business ஐடியாவை, value proposition கொண்டு வருவீங்க இல்லையா, I want you to include technology in it. I don't want you to offer a service or a product which is not technology based. நல்லா தெரிஞ்சுக்கிறீங்க, no startup will be accepted for incubation or for acceleration if it is not technology based. Yen sonna, once you have technology, you can reach out to millions and billions of people in no time, in a short span of time. I'll give you an example, interesting example. COVID-19 வந்தது. அப்போ வந்து எல்லாருமே வந்து இங்கிலாந்துல பல்லாயிரம் பேர் மரணிக்கிறாங்க, ஸ்பெயின்ல பல பேர் மரணிக்கிறாங்க, யூஎஸ்ல பல பேர் மரணிக்கிறாங்கன்றது எல்லாருக்கும் தெரிய வந்தது. But there was no single place where you can see what is happening around the world. ஒருத்தர் என்ன பண்ணாருன்னா, யூஎஸ்ல he put up a website. I forgot the website name. Maybe if you remind me in the next class, I'll tell you this. எல்லா இன்ஃபர்மேஷனையும் கலெக்ட் பண்ணி அந்த வெப்சைட்ல ஃபீச்சர் பண்ண ஆரம்பிச்சிட்டாரு. எத்தனை இன்ஃபெக்ஷன்ஸ், எத்தனை டெத்ஸ், எத்தனை இது அப்படின்னு சொல்லி கொஞ்சம் எவ்ரிதிங் அபவுட் கோவிட் வந்து ஒரு வெப்சைட்ல கொண்டு வந்தாரு. Can you guess? The website had a hit, right? Hitனா எத்தனை பேர் ஆக்சஸ் பண்றாங்கன்றது overnight, because ஃபவுசின்ற ஒருத்தர் அட்வைசர் டு அமெரிக்கன் பிரசிடென்ட், ரைட்? மிஸ்டர் ஃபவுசி, நீங்க பேர் வந்து கேள்விப்பட்டிருப்பீங்க, நியூஸ்ல நிறைய இடத்துல அவர் பேர் வந்தது. ஈவன் ட்ரம்ப் வந்து அந்த அப்போ பிரசிடென்டா இருந்தாரு. He mentioned the name of Fauzi many times because he's the chief health advisor for the president. Our ஒரு news briefing in the website page solitaire. It became popular around the world overnight. Millions of people came to that website to access, and as a result, and the website uடைய value it became millions. Can you imagine? So this is the great thing about technology. If you have technology in overnight, you can become crazily successful. Your startup can become from nothing to worth millions. I hope this understands, brothers and sisters. Always include technology from now onwards. Other people, Faisal and Abdullah says, Alhamdulillah, good valuable session. Nihar Samia says, actually, I am doing business not in a proper way, so think this session teaches me how to start a business properly so that I can plan my business in future. Very good, brother or sister, whoever you are. Mahfouz, brother Mahfouz says, Khawarizmi says, as you said, we shouldn't choose the product on behalf of the customers. Could you explain further? What about new products? Okay, sometimes, right? This is a very interesting question, brother Mahfouz, right? சில சமயம் என்ன ஆகும் அப்படின்னு சொன்னா, you will come up with a new invention, right? When you come up with a new invention, as a scientist, you need to ensure that the invention is targeting a particular need of the market. If you go and Google top 10, top 20 biggest reasons for failure, அப்படின்னு சொல்லி நீங்க போய் பாத்தீங்கன்னா, you will find out that even though the product is amazing, the product features are amazing, the technology is amazing, but that technology is not the present need of the market. Examples are plenty for this, brother Mahfouz. You can go and Google yourself. If there is no need for the product in the market, if you cannot establish a solid proof with data backing, then you should pull off from that product, right? This is why customer survey is very, very important. You need to speak to the customers to discover whether would you be interested in a product which has these features. This is something that doesn't exist in the market. If somebody comes up with a new product like this, do you think, would you be interested? அந்த மாதிரி நீங்க ஒரு 50 பேர்ட்ட கேளுங்க, 100 பேர்ட்ட கேளுங்க, 500 பேர்ட்ட கேளுங்க, 1000 பேர்ட்ட கேளுங்க. The more the customer sample size you have, the more better you can validate your product through the customers. I hope this answers, brother Mahfouz. I hope I answered your question. If not, maybe you can ask me again in the group, WhatsApp group. Actually, we are very close to ending today's session, but I'm happy to take few more questions if you're going to stick around for another few minutes. Brother Zaman, what do you think?
Yes, doctor. Yes, doctor. I think we will.
Do you think I can continue?
Yeah, can. Because still there are a few questions are there. I think we try to answer all the questions.
Okay, brother Hafiz Majid says, if I have a business idea, but nobody, even friends and family, not buying this, how shall I progress then? See, sometimes, right, people have this crazy idea which people around you may not be able to comprehend, right? அந்த மாதிரி தான் நிறைய ஸ்டார்ட்அப்ஸ் நீங்க போய் பாத்தீங்கன்னா, இப்போ ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் நீங்க இந்த இப்போ இருக்கிற டிஜிட்டைசேஷனையே பாருங்களேன். நிறைய பேர் ஆன்லைன் ஸ்கூல்ஸ் அக்செப்ட் பண்ணிருப்பாங்கல்ல 5 இயர்ஸ்க்கு முன்னாடி. There was this idea existed. Online school system existed even in the past. Online university setup existed maybe more than 10 years from now. But people have accepted right now because now the market is ready for it. So sometimes your question, by the way, brother Hafiz Majid, is overlapping with brother Mahfouz's question. The question you should ask is whether the market is ready for this idea, whether the market is ready for your product. So how would you know the answer for this question is you have to ask the customers. Only answer to this is you have to ask the customers. Don't talk to your people. Don't talk to your friends. Don't talk to your family. Talk to other people. Talk to potential customers, right? Perhaps they will be able to validate your idea better than others, inshallah. Next is Imran Salim. Assalamu alaikum, doctor. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. It's a wonderful and knowledgeable session. I would like to ask whether gain creator in value map is the term material, is in terms of material or concept. Brother, gains can be in different forms. Gain can be financial gain. நீங்க based on your competitors. இப்போ உங்க competitor வந்து 10 ringgitsக்கு வந்து ஒரு product கொடுக்குறாரு. If you are able to provide at the same cost, but with a better, value for your customer through the product, customer will accept it because you're, probably solving more pains for the customer than your competitor. But at the same time, if you are able to reduce the cost a little bit, 5 cents, 10 cents, 50 cents, நீங்க கம்மி பண்றீங்கன்னா, that's a gain for your customer. So the gain can be different forms. The gain can be, financial gain or psychological gain or social gain. Sometimes வந்து ஒரு brand வந்து கொஞ்சம் brand வந்து கொஞ்சம் நல்ல பாப்புலர் ஆயிடுச்சுன்னு வைங்களேன். சில பேர் வந்து நீங்க எந்த பிராண்ட் யூஸ் பண்றீங்க? ஓ, நான் அந்த பிராண்ட் யூஸ். ஓ, அப்படியா? ஓகே ஓகே அப்படின்னு சொல்லி சோஷியல் ஸ்டேட்டஸ் ஃபார் தட் பிராண்ட் will build up over a period of time, and people will think high of your brand, of a particular brand than another brand. So அதனால gains can be of different forms, inshallah. The more you dig in, inshallah, the more you will understand. So start working on the value proposition canvas that is displayed on the screen right now. Okay, Rafil Sultan says, thank you so much. You're welcome. Rizwana Zakir says, Alhamdulillah, very detailed explanation. Inshallah, will definitely will implement all the points shared. Look forward for next session. The sustainability part really broadened my future ideas. Thank you. You're welcome, sister. Next is Muhammad Yusuf says, Alhamdulillah, very good session. I have 2 questions. What's your suggestion for those who don't have any idea at all? Sorry, brother Muhammad Yusuf, if you don't have any idea at all, you speak to me using this particular, can you all, I hope you all can see my screen right now. You can book a schedule with me. ஒரே நிமிஷம் இருங்க. calendly.com/Abdul Khaliq/15 minutes. Okay, இந்த வெப்சைட்டுக்கு போங்க, and you can book a 15-minute slot with me. You can speak. If we need more time for discussion, perhaps, if I'm available, I'll be more than happy to give you my time. So calendly.com/Abdul Khaliq/15. This one will directly feed your, appointment request to my own calendar, my official calendar. So I'll be happy to discuss some potential business ideas. Maybe I can become your co-founder, inshallah, right? So second question. Where is it? I'm so sorry. I think I'm okay. Second question on for the funding, is it convenient for introvert people who are afraid or not confident to present to the people? How to overcome it? Now, inshallah, I have a dedicated session to explain how you can confidently pitch and how to come up with a effective pitch. Pitchna enna, neenga ellame ready pannittu kadisila poi investor munadi poi neenga present பண்ணுவீங்க ஐடியா. present பண்ணி 50,000 இல்ல 100,000 இல்ல 500,000 நீங்க கேட்க போறீங்க. அது எப்படி கான்ஃபிடென்ட்டா கேக்குறது, எதெல்லாம் எந்த பாயிண்ட்ஸ் எல்லாம் இன்வெஸ்டர்ஸ் பார்க்க போறாங்க, எந்த பேசிஸ்ல உங்களுக்கு உங்களுடைய ஸ்டார்ட் அப் ஐடியாவை இவாலுவேட் பண்ணுவாங்கன்றத நான் ஒரு ஸ்பெஷல் செஷன், ஒரு out of 10 sessions there is one session whereby I will teach you that, inshallah. Don't worry, it is very easy. நான் எல்லாம் பயங்கரமா, actually நான் பயந்ததே கிடையாது. because I was, alhamdulillah, I was given opportunity to lead from a very young age, and as a result, alhamdulillah, Allah blessed me with this confidence. But I know many friends who overcome this over a period of time with some exercises. Inshallah, I will help you with this, brother Muhammad Yusuf. Don't worry about it. Inshallah, we all can pull this out. Brother Shah says, maybe in next section you can share more case study or startup to get more idea. Yes, inshallah, brother Shah, we will do that. Captain Muhammad says, Doctor, since I'm just starting to have an idea, where am I find to customers who can relate their pains and gains? நீங்க ஒரு ஐடியா வச்சிருக்கீங்க அப்படின்னு சொன்னா, கேப்டன், you need to first of all figure out, right, who are your potential customers. எந்த customer segment நீங்க டார்கெட் பண்றீங்க. How to identify your customer segment ன்றது ஒரு பெரிய டாபிக். I will explain to you inshallah in the coming sessions. So customer profile அப்படின்னு சொல்லி ஒரு கான்செப்ட் இருக்கு. You need to figure out who your customer is based on their age group, their ethnicity, their demography, their social status, their financial capability. அதெல்லாம் வந்து நிறைய விஷயங்கள் இருக்கு. அதெல்லாம் ரொம்ப சிம்பிளா வந்து நீங்க ஐடென்டிஃபை பண்ணிக்கலாம். அது எப்படி பண்றதுன்றத inshallah I will explain to you in the coming sessions. Okay, don't worry about it, Captain.
Okay, Doctor.
Faisal.
Doctor.
Yes, brother.
The time ரொம்ப run பண்றதுனால maybe because there are a lot of questions coming up.
Okay.
What we can do is we can take all these questions, and because people are leaving.
Okay.
So I don't want we already blocked them 2 hours.
Okay.
So is it better to put it in WhatsApp and discuss, or how do you want to move forward?
I think there are only a couple of questions more.
Okay,
let me just quickly address them and we wrap up. I will take the last question with from brother Tamim. Okay. Brother Tamim's question would be the last one, inshallah.
Okay.
Second, I think brother Shah already asked this with regards to payments and all those things. I have sessions, brothers. Inshallah, you need to hold your horses, and inshallah I'll be able to help you with all your revenue models, payment options, what are the different kinds of payment methods you can adapt, and so on. Brother Syed Ibrahim is more concerned about investors, funders, but at the same time confidentiality and security. Don't worry, you can speak to me using this link. We can inshallah discuss more. I think we are done for today. Alhamdulillah. I hope it was a fruitful session. If you have more questions, you can post your questions in the group. When I find time, inshallah I'll be able to answer them. Jazakallah khair. Everyone, really appreciate you participating with a lot of interaction. Over to you, brother Zaman. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.
Okay, alhamdulillah, thanks a lot for all the participants. I think like more than 50 attended. I think nearly 75 has been registered. I think maybe they will be busy with other things. So inshallah, in coming weeks, I think we need to prepare ourselves so that doctor also will be more interactive to us. So let's prepare on the case study. Maybe if you want, in the user group, and you can come up with the team of members. Sometimes if it is working as a one person, it might be a problem. So what do you think, doctor? I think we should have some kind of groups or group of friends.
We will do that, inshallah. Jazakallah khair. That's a very good suggestion, brother. What we can do is, inshallah, after 3 sessions, we will form groups if required. Say for example, இப்போ 2-3 பேர் இருக்கீங்க, உங்கள்ட்ட வந்து ஐடியாஸ் இல்ல after reviewing your business idea, if I find, and inshallah we will have some mentors, internal mentors. We have already agreed to have mashallah brother Syed Aziz and Dr. Ibrahim, the founder of Self-Help for Youth, and also Dr. Bashir as our internal mentors, and myself. We will review your startup ideas and give you feedback. If, say for example, somebody has really difficulty in coming up with a potential idea, what we will do is we will offer you the opportunity to maybe form a group with other participants, inshallah. And if you both mutually agree, then I believe you can go form a team and work together, inshallah. That's how I think it is.
Okay, so I think with that, I think we come to a conclusion of this program. So let's recite Surah Wal-Asr and end the session. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wal-Asr innal insana lafi khusr illa alladhina amanu wa amilus salihati wa tawasaw bis-sabr.
Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Jazakallah khair.
Jazakallah khair, everyone. Thank you. I think we can discuss in the WhatsApp group if you need any more questions. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much, doctor. Thank you for everyone. Bye. Take care.